Hi, and welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings, where I have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So I don't think 3 hours is going to be all that difficult considering I had a topic, and you always wonder will the topic get you through? Do you have enough stuff to talk about? I think last week I said, I don't know if there's going to be that much news, and then all of a sudden, all this G.I. Joe news dropped. Hell, a lot of G.I. Joe news dropped while we were actually on, and none of you guys in the chat said, hey, dude, you realize that all this G.I. Joe news is happening, but that's fine. I let everyone talk about it for a week, and now we'll really get to my feelings on it. We got a lot of stuff that Chad dropped, a lot of rumors that I have no reason to believe that he didn't confirm his sources. A lot of rumors earlier that Chris from the Full Force, he also discussed a lot of these things because someone even said, hey, you know what? This is just a wish list. And he said, hey, read between the lines. Once again, making some dude with an island look like a total ass hat, but not like that's hard. But there's just so much. And then again, Hasbro, what is it? Like you cannot give, I mean, you can't give the G.I. Joe team more than a week to announce that they're going to have a, uh, a live stream to talk about more product right before Christmas. But don't worry, it's not that big of a deal because I'll pre-order. And let's be honest, we have a little bit of time. Speaking of Pulse, I got hit earlier today. I missed it. Hey, your Pulse Premium member has expired. Don't forget to re-up with it so you don't miss these exclusives. Now, let me tell you something. Of course, it comes at a bad time because, once again, it's Christmas. And we're still waiting on the car. It's going to be like $2,400. You guys all know that story anyway. I can't wait for that. That's always good before Christmas. But if you're on the fence, if you collect G.I. Joe or you buy anything through Hasbro Pulse and you don't have the premium membership, you're missing out just because of the free shipping. You'll make your $50 back easily. So honest to God, if you buy stuff from Hasbro Pulse, if you're getting the G.I. Joe stuff and all the exclusives, you really need to do it. And believe me, I'm not paid by Hasbro. I'm not a Hasbro show. I'm just trying to save you guys some money because God knows around this time we all need to. Anyway, the chat is absolutely going crazy right now. 42 people watching. Hit that like button. I have so much to say right now. Should I get into the chat? Should I say hi to the chat? We'll get in a minute. I want to say thank you to Largo's Lair, uh, Jim Largo, and Wilhelm. They just had me on. We recorded it yesterday. Their Infinity playlist. So if anyone ever wonders, are you a punk with toys or are you like a punk with toys? Well, it answers everything. All right. And you'll get to hear some of the songs that I enjoy, what I like. Again, if you watch enough, you'll see the shirts that I wear. You can hear some of the music. You hear me talk to some people in the chat. And I got to say, Largo, you guys were a blast to hang out with. I see a Wilhelm here, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Follow both those guys. Ed, Matthew, drop their a link to their channels if you can. Again, that's what community is all about. I know a lot of people don't like that word community. I'm not sure why community is such a bad word to talk about, but let's be honest, man. Like, this is our community, and seriously, great guys, a lot of fun. Uh, and hey, maybe you'll just find out how awesome punk rock really is. So, before I get into anything else, let's just say hi to the chat because I gotta say, I'm not used to it being this busy so early. It's becoming, uh, it's becoming more of a thing. You guys really like me. You really like me. Anyway, quickly, Masterversal Toy Hunter. Nice to see you. Another wonderful channel member. Jason Gura. I know I ruined that right. I'm sorry if I did. Uh, Largo's Lair. Again, I'm glad you are in right away. PNC, another channel member. We got Krusty Old Crow. Who makes POS? Well, you know what? Those people that, well, we're going to get into it. The people that swap toys, that send them back to Amazon, that that cram a banana or an old Batman figure into a G.I. Joe box or a Marvel Legends box because they don't want to spend the money. That's all I have to say to that. Johnny Reno, who I finally did ship out the figure that he donated for the Black Friday giveaway. Viper's got another channel member. Eternia Eclipse, nice to see you. Shark Eyes is in the house, one of the first channel members. Newfie 4024. We got Bruce Labaron. And Krusty is from Ottawa. I went to Ottawa Elementary School because all our schools in my district are named after Native Americans. I don't want to insult anyone. Down South 77 is here. We got Matthew Matson, my first moderator. What he says goes, but we have a pretty good community here. Ray Paz is in the house. Cobra Commander. I like G.I. Joe more than Cobra, just so you know. Ed Action Figs. Yes, it is pronounced Action Figs. That's how he wants it. The second moderator, and again, what they say goes. Carol, I like that Carol's always here before Oz. It just makes me laugh. Speaking moistly, another channel member, Big Bacon, who when we do the channel streams, this guy is cruising in his big rig, has his camera on, and he's chatting with us, but he always has his eyes on the road, unless if his rig breaks down in Ohio, like so many things break down in Ohio. Black Genghis. Listen, if you're not following this guy, check him out. He's going to be one of the big YouTubers, toy tubers, soon enough when he starts putting out a little bit more content. And you want to hear someone that probably yells more than I do when he's not even angry? It's this guy. Aaron the Toy Enhancer. There's Astrodamus Toys. We have the Collector. Darth Burke, did you get my message? I shipped out your stuff today, so hopefully you get it. What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope that Mezco Destro is up to life. Did you order it? But you got it for $45 if you use my code. Entertainment Earth. I don't know if they're still doing it. Had the Mezco Destro for $50. If you use my code, you get another 10% off. That figure is awesome. It will. A new to be. I think I got that right. I don't know. All right. There are so many. I'm going to kind of scroll through. Guys, I had Allison Troy, who I do believe was my first channel member. Or no, actually, she was one of the first channel members. The first one was actually Palpatine, who pops in. He's on the other side of the world, literally. Bruce Labaron. And so many other people, and I'm just going to kind of have to, I want to say hi to, again, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Check out his and Largo's Layers. Again, yes, I had a blast, and I can't wait to do a second one because now that I know that I can go back multiple times, I'm going to have different things for my music. All of a sudden, they're like, shit, dude, this guy just invited himself on like every week to do a playlist. Impossible Pie. I don't believe I've ever seen you. So I always want to say, every time I see someone that I haven't seen or that I don't remember, I want to stop and say hi. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not for everyone. And then we have Brick Something this Thursday with the friend. Brick and I will be talking. I guarantee you it's going to get heavy into more punk rock because he's also a punk rocker from California. And he actually even came through Detroit at one time in his life, as he has told me. So, all right, I can go on and on and on because there are so many. Oh, I got to say hi to this guy, Tony's. You hear that with an S? Tony's Figs. What's up to all my friends in this chat? You people make up an awesome community. I do want to apologize to Tony and also Allison. They were doing a stream yesterday. At that same time, I was recording with Largo and Will. I wasn't trying to ignore you. Then I went downstairs. Football was on. My mind got distracted, so that's why I got in so late. And Payne's Toy Samples and Greg. This is the guy that does all my 3D printing. I mean, I do some of my own, but all mine stuff sucks. All right. That, my friends, is how you successfully waste 11 minutes. And not Top Goon, been a while since I've hopped in your stream. Hope you're doing okay, man. I see Oki and I think of Oki data printers or fax machines. Not Top Goon. I didn't think you'd ever dropped into mine. I've seen you 100 times, but welcome and thank you. I hope it's something you enjoy, man. Like, I love that we're able to get new people in all the time. The show is growing. And okay, I'm sorry, I gotta stop here. Spaded one Dice Century. Hello, friend. Hola, friendos. Again, I'm a bad Mexican, so I can't speak Spanish. Tony, can you translate that for me? Thank you. Another person that I haven't seen. Hope you stick around. Oh God, like JLS Comics. We got Patrick. Come on, you see this is what happens. Like, I want to say hi to everyone, but I can't. Oh, we made it to the end. Gonna pat myself on the back. Like so many other people, they need to pat themselves on the back. I should be too. Anyway, so last week was kind of I think a big week. I got this 4 Horsemen in. Now I do kind of have to take something back. I said it really didn't glow all that well. Now, if you leave the head and the eyes and everything exposed, I mean, with the lamp right above it, it glows pretty well. Not as good as Scare Glow being, 20 feet away from light glow, because that dude is just amazing. But he does glow a lot better than I thought that he did. And maybe he just needed time to charge, but you really need to put a light over it. And then when it goes off, it will glow. Again, it's not Scare Glow. I mean, again, this $15 figure, this guy lights up a whole room. And he is better than even the skeletons. And then I got Nunchuck today. Sergeant Reds, they posted Nunchuck. I grabbed it. Review will be up 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So look for it. Hit that like button when you see it, just like you hit this like button. At least I hope you're hitting this like button. And look, I better not have froze up because it looks like I froze up over here. And if I did, Matthew is not letting me know. But you guys are going like crazy. Anyway, all right. So let's quickly. Oops. I have 2 HISS tanks, 3.75 in my closet. Oh, must be talking to somebody. I was trying to highlight. Greg, thank you very much for joining, becoming a channel member. You do so much for me when it comes to 3D printing and helping me get stuff, helping me with my reviews. If you get figures that I don't have, you get them sooner. So listen, thank you very much. That means everything to me. Just to have you join one of the channel members. And we will be doing more channel streams. And I'm working on an idea going into next year that I'm going to try and host once a month with a channel member, just for the channel members. Not like what we're doing right now, but something a little bit different. Okay. Let me take a drink. All right. So, as you guys know, channel members, channel memberships, there's some merchandise. I'm trying to put up new shirts, trying to do new shirts. I'm working on one right now. And when I do it, you guys are going to be like, that one was so obvious. Why didn't we do it sooner? Why didn't we think about it? And then, again, the affiliate links, the Amazon and Entertainment Earth. I've seen a lot of people are using the Entertainment Earth. You get 10% off if you buy anything that's in stock from Entertainment Earth. And if you're just using the link, it does help support the channel. Amazon, if you click one of those links whenever you're ordering anything on Amazon, doesn't have to be toys. It helps support the channel. So if you're ordering yourself a new grill, it helps support the channel. And what helps support one of our good friends is Hella Dope Toys. I also have a code. You guys get 10% off anything, whether it's in stock or you pre-order it. So make sure to use all those codes whenever you're ordering something. Helps the channel. I appreciate it. Yada, yada, yada. I've shielded enough for myself. Well, also as a channel member for the $2.99, you also get a Discord, the private Discord. It's hard to get that thing going, so we need more people, and all the other people that are super toy enablers. Look for that, and if you can't find it, hit me up, and I will send you I'll send you a link to the Discord because you have access to it. Whew. That's how you successfully waste 16 minutes of a 3+ hour show. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, Nerdy's end tonight. I just saw him post it. He didn't really post when it ends. So if you haven't voted for me yet, or for anyone in all those things, again, I think Matt did it's got to take time. I know how long it takes time to do this. Let's go over there and vote for the Nerdies. And if you like me enough and you haven't yet, vote for me for Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure it's the right term because I've been doing this for quite some time. But you guys get it, right? Anyway, just going through all my stuff here of what I got. The giveaway was sent away. Thank you to Largo. Yeah, so we'll be getting into all the G.I. Joe rumors. That's probably going to take up a big chunk when we get to the end here. But there seems to be a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. And there's going to be a lot of G.I. Joe talk going into next week, obviously. So, yes, Tony, I know you voted for Chad. And it's cool. Hey, you went and you voted, right? Every vote counts. Whether you voted for the Dems or the Republicans or independent, your vote counts. And right now, someone is thumbing out a political Instagram thing to send me right now. Because they're like, oh my God, he's at politics. He must want me to send something. He must be a Republican. He must be a Democrat. Man, I'm on one right now. I gotta say, I had a great time just going back, watching the Infinity playlist on Largo's Lair and chatting with everyone. There were some people in there that have never, I don't think, knew who I was. And I think that's a lot of the idea. But they also got to hear what it is that I'm into. So I will be looking forward to seeing a few more of those. And Action Fig said that, hey, Hall & Oates is on his playlist. Hall & Oates is a great duo. They're not a band, right? They don't like calling themselves a band. Daryl Hall and John Oates. Anyway, whew. Just trying to see if there's anything else. All right, so hit that like button. There's 69 people right now. That's what she said. Hit that like button. 71 now. There should be at least 71 likes, right? Can we hit 100 likes today? We've hit 100 likes one time during the show. Let's see if we can do it because there's that many people that roll through here. I think a lot of people are going to want to talk about the topic of these toy swappers. You know, you guys are assholes. Listen, I know some of you watch the show. You have to. I mean, the toy swappers, getting into it before we get into it, it's like all those people during the pandemic that were hoarding toilet paper. You never met one person that said they hoarded toilet paper or hoarded the disinfectant, but it wasn't available, right? It's like these toy swappers. None of them are ever going to admit that they did it, yet people keep getting toys, the wrong toys in the wrong boxes, right? So, all right. Hey, the likes counter is live now. I think. I think it is. I'm not sure. Let's see here. I'm super excited for a lot of these new classified figures coming out, especially those Action Man anniversary figures. I gotta say, I think almost every single one of the classified figures look absolutely amazing. Even if you don't like the figure, or you have no connection to it, I think that the Hasbro or the G.I. Joe team has done a wonderful job of finding a way to just to make things look good. I even said that about that latest one with all the missiles. And we got steak juice. I've started taking pictures on my action figures that I have had their heads stolen. You mean like brand new ones? Um, or like I mean, how are they stolen? Uh, because no one comes in my house and steals mine. And I have been lucky enough not to get hit. But to be honest, this whole topic was brought on by Bees Battleground. As you guys know, I talk to Bobby a lot, and I saw his picture, and then all of a sudden, I get three other people that watch the channel or that I talk to, or two other people that hit me up going, "Dude, happened to me, happened to me." So it's so bad right now, and I have seen other people on the Joe forums that talk about it. That oh, you just send this back, and you know what? Like again, we're gonna get into it later. See, all right, so let's get into something before we get into all the other stuff. And you guys are going to be like, that's a shocker right there. So this popped up, and oddly enough, Bobby B. I had actually pre ordered it even before uh, Bobby had posted it. And that is this Palm Hero skateboarder. Now, again, as you most of you know, I'm a skateboarder. Not that I used to skateboard, I still do skateboard. I'm actually still sore from riding for the first time in a couple months Friday. So this thing popped up. It does look to be a 6-inch figure. And I gotta say, I'm a little. It's only $35, and I'm intrigued by it. I don't know why he has no face paint. I if anyone actually knows me, they know that I do not like Airwalk. Vans. I've never owned a pair of Vans. Um, they are cheap shoes that wear out super fast, but I do understand why that would be the company that they go with. But I like the baggy clothes that he has on, and hopefully I can find maybe some of the GI Joe heads that can be swapped with. It's going to be you're not going to be able to you're not going to know for sure um, until you actually see what the ball joint is inside of it. And I gotta say that Eric Thurman, there. I will send it to you. Uh, the young guys that I skate with, I have one clip from when I was a kid, and it's me pop shoving over a ramp. Probably about two and a half, maybe over 2 foot, over 2 foot ramp. It's a little ramp, a little launch ramp that someone made, and I actually pop shove it over it, not off of it, but over it. And the guys absolutely love it. And I look back at it now, and it's the only thing that I do have. But I gotta say this, um, it was a proper pop shove it. So I will send that to you. Probably not tonight because I'll have to go to bed after this. But anyway, I saw this. I want to support, skateboard things. I'm not sure about the skateboard, but I have other skateboards around here that I definitely like that I think will work. Um, so I'll be using that. Now, this does come with a wrong board. Yes, I did say that correctly. It is a wrong board because that's what long boards are. They are wrong. Um, I do not longboard. It is riding on a plank. It is not skateboarding. Again, this is where I become an arrogant asshole. But again, I like the way the figure looks. It has a different action figure style look, something that maybe you would have seen early on, um, almost like a 12-inch figure. So anyway, I did order this. Uh, when I get it, I'll probably do a review on it. Hopefully, it's decent. Hopefully, he stands on it. And hopefully, I can use maybe a head, or maybe I'll have to send this head into my buddy Tony's Figs and have him paint up the eyes and make it put some paint on it because I don't understand why there's nothing. Um, yeah, I have some. A matter of fact, so I don't like the new Tech Deck scales. They're really wide, but the older ones seem to be way more aesthetic. Aesthetic look are aesthetically how an actual popsicle popsicle stick skateboard is. So I got to get to. So again, I just don't understand the face. Like why there are no why there are no paint apps on the face. Now maybe they'll change this. It's hard to say, but there is a chance if I can pop it off, I'll just mail this thing out to Tony and say, "Hey, paint this head up." There's more than enough pictures of me bald, and I'll be bald again once it is, above 20 degrees. It is above 20 degrees, above 30 degrees. I'll be bald again, so it might work out. Anyway, that's it. There's probably no one else that's gonna buy it but me. All right. Let's see here. Where are my rollerblading toys by Daily Bread Toys? I don't know, and I guarantee you that if they make scooter kids, I will not be buying any type of scooter because no, scooters are wrong. They are worse than the rollerbladers, and that is just the truth. I did not. So look for Liquid Identity says Darth props on the classified codename Tony Hawk joke. I appreciated it. I did not see that, or maybe it was later or earlier. Listen, you guys are going nuts right now. I can't believe there's so many people watching me right now. All right. So I did load. Present slides. All right, so I talked about this earlier. I threw this in there again. If you haven't voted, big nerdy, go over there, vote, get those votes in. Today's the last day. I don't expect to win, but hey, you know what? You can always give it a shot. And as I mentioned, Thursday with a friend. Unfortunately, I was supposed to show this earlier. That's why this is here. So Thursday with a friend, I will be on, or Brick will be on with me. And again, we're gonna find out about Brick and probably a lot of punk, probably a lot of punk talk. That. All right, so let's get into some McFarlane. He's always got stuff going, and actually, he has some pretty decent stuff that someone who's not really into McFarlane, I think, looks pretty nice. I gotta stop and we're just gonna go with S3D. I know that I've never seen this name before. Even Ross are getting hit with the swaps when the figures are $4.99. Straight edge friends, how many of us have them? Not that many. I still do have one though. I still do have one more from the area. He's one that I know that is still wears the X. So, and he just got divorced. So, I think that makes a lot of people start to drink, but I don't think he will. Anyway, McFarlane here. So drop the new Superman, and I gotta say, this thing does look really good. You finally got that classic looking Superman. Now I know it was pointed out on the Froosh about the waist and everything. It's a reuse of, I forget what Superman he said, but I think it looks pretty good. He does have the smiley face. This really makes me think, even though it's not the likeness of Christopher Reeves, it definitely has that feel to it and the whole look. So if you want something that is more classic, especially with the classic Wonder Woman coming out, here you go, man. This is gonna, fit in really good with it. So pick something. Oh man, true till divorce. No, I think he's going to remain straight edge. Hopefully he does. It's not too often that you have a friend that has never done anything like yourself. It doesn't happen too often. What's up with the Brandon Roth costume? Well, I mean, it's supposed to be like the classic Superman, but let's be honest. McFarlane is going to reuse, repaint more than any other company, maybe even more than Motu does. And then he'll swap other parts and make the same paint the same paint apps for the figure, and you'll be like, "What the hell's going on?" All right. Oz says 62 people watching, only 16 likes. Oz, you need to refresh because I have at least 34 here. I'm not sure if it updates in real time or not. It should, right? All right. Then he dropped this Bizarro, and I believe this is it's not a Bizarro Batman, is it? Uh it looks like a Joker Batman. Please someone fill me in really quick. Um I looked over it. I actually think it looks pretty cool. I like the Bizarro. I like that the Batman isn't Jokerized. Um okay. So Black Genghis says that it is a Bat Zorro. All right. Because it kind of has that Joker face. But then I noticed that the bat was upside down. So it definitely made me go, oh, hey, that's um that's interesting. So I know nothing about this, but I don't mind something like this. And again, it's not something that I collect, but I look at it and aesthetically, it's pretty fun. And I really do like Bizarro. I always thought Bizarro was a super cool villain. Going back to the Super Friends, um, he was like the he had a speech pattern like Yoda if he was dumb. So, um, but I do love I do like the way this looks. So it's gonna be there again, and I'm sure it'll be in so many packs. You know how McFarlane is. He makes sure that you have there'll be lots of opportunities to get many, many, many of these. Nolan chimes in, says these Bizarro figures actually look pretty good. Yeah, I agree. Like I have no issues with them either. Black Inga says Choke Rise Bat Zorro is like a KFC double down of action figures. Oh, and you know it's coming. You know that it's coming. Uh, KJ, it's coming because he loves to Jokerize stuff. And I gotta say, some of the Jokerize stuff, I do like the color schemes. It's not something I'm gonna be buying. And this just popped up today, and this is Nightfall Nightwing. Uh, I'm not a huge fan of the super blue costume like this, but I think this actually works because I do like this color. Um, in general, I like this color. Um, but I think this looks awesome. Again, if you are doing a bat family, this is something that I would say you need. I do have a Nightwing that I'm probably going trying to get rid of eventually. I have taken it down. Actually, if you notice, now you can't see now; it's pretty small. But I actually changed everything in the back. Try not to do things at like 10 o'clock at night. You know how long it takes to stand figures, move things around, dust everything. And I want to stop and say hi to Ted Darklaw from Hello Dope Toys. Hello, friends listening while I drive. Just listen, don't watch because we need you in one piece. All right. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how long I could buy toys from an owner that just likes Ohio State. But unlike your partner, I am an adult and I don't have a problem saying Ohio, where he can't say Michigan. And if you don't know anything about sports, then you don't understand the rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. Anyway, uh, so again, I do think this looks pretty good. I love Dick Grayson. I love Dick. There it is. Um, but I love Dick Grayson. I've always said he is the one man, other than Terry McGinnis, but that's a completely different thing. That can take the mantle of Batman. If there's anyone that's ever going to take the mantle, it should be Dick Grayson. And again, I loved his whole story and everything that he always went through. So then there's this. I don't know who wanted this. This is hard to see what it actually is. They should really put it on like a blue background when they do these. But this is a Batman in a hazmat Batman. shaded. So it's really hard to see because it's on a white background. It does come with the card, which I believe was it Black Angus that said those cards are useless. No one wants cards. Um, but he's getting a little bit more money out of it with these stands. Now I did get a side shot of it, just so you could see like his the air tank that he's going to use for the hazmat suit and everything. But again, Todd is always going to do strange things like this. They must sell, or maybe he makes enough that maybe he just makes enough that he knows people will buy. Maybe he doesn't go overboard, so there's not so many of these sitting on the shelves. Uh, I mean, he's doing something right because you don't see all his figures on clearance. Now you can find them on clearance, at on Amazon, but at Target, you don't really see these, going down all the time, and there's always new figures flowing through. Now, if you talk to John at Sergeant Reds, he's going to say, hey, you know what, chuck these things in the Van Dyke, which is the road that he's on, because they're kind of stuck with them. And I think a lot of the toy companies, or I'm sorry, toy shops, independent toy shops, will tell you the same thing, because that was kind of different. It's kind of difficult. I want an MTV Award Batman. You know what? I'm sorry. Now I can't unsee that, Shark. Thank you very much. Ross has a bunch of McFarlane figures. Are they the DC ones, or are they? My closest Ross is like 30 miles away, so it kind of sucks for me because I've seen all the GI Joe stuff. But yeah, now I want an MTV Award Batman. I hope Todd is listening, because he's like, I didn't think about doing a Moon Man Batman, and we're gonna get one. And I'm Ricky Blackburn. I don't remember ever seeing you in here, so I just want to stop, highlight you, and say hi and thank you for joining in. Whether you've been watching for a while and it's the first time you decided to throw a chat down, I do appreciate it. All right. Well, okay. My Ross is a shit show. So the Ross that I went to was disaster. When I was in Baltimore, when we went out to dinner, there was a Ross. So as my friend looked at me, she was like, do you really want to go there? I'm like, yeah, it's there. Oh my God, it looked like a fucking tornado came just smashing through there. Those people that go there, like, they must have, like, I'd hate to see what their houses look like. I mean, they're just, I don't get it, man. Like, I understand things are gonna get messy, but when I take something off the shelves or off the pegs, I put it back. It's not that hard, but man, every Ross that I've been into is a disaster, and I haven't been into many because we don't have many here. And I want to say hi to One Honor. Found Crockmaster at Ross for $12. I've seen that popping up. I would not buy it because I already have Crockmaster and I don't need another crocodile. But I gotta say, that is a damn good price because that crocodile is worth $12 on its own. That Fiona is so awesome. Yeah, I think it's just it's amazing. Like, I don't even understand all these GI Joes. I know I saw Crockmaster. I've seen everything, to be honest. I've been lucky. I have found everything in my stores, but a lot of these that are just showing up, I'm like, where the hell have these been at? Like, these were there wasn't an abundance of them. So where are they all coming from? But we're gonna find out. Yeah, they are savages. That is the best way to put it, man. Uh, so we've looked at Moonman Batman, and here's the box for it. More white, so it is gold label, so it means it's coming from somewhere. So again, good idea. He comes up with some ideas. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, okay. Figuarts, they dropped something. Look how fancy I'm getting now, guys. I'm like I do these slides and I put like what's coming up next, so I'm not shocked. If you ever watched me before, you see I'm like completely shocked when I hit something. Um, Ted says, anyone find a $12 Crockmaster, holler at me. I need one. Yeah, dude. Guys, can you block this guy? He just needs a 3-hour ban. We don't say those. Okay. No, you know what? It doesn't matter because Michigan has won 3 years in a row. And I don't even want to get into this, but seriously, I don't know if you're an actual Buckeye fan. If you're a sports fan, what the fuck is up with their quarterback hitting the transfer portal? He won every game up to Michigan. He wasn't a bad quarterback. So did they push him out or what? Like I don't get it. Yeah, Big Bacon, you're blocked too. But I'm keeping the money for your channel membership. Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask YouTube if they can double it for being an Ohio State fan and doing that one and waiting for someone to say the next 2 letters. That's just mean. All right, you random diorama. People are just mean to me. I'm nothing but nice to everyone. Anyway, Figuarts. So an Aquaman popped up. I'm going to say it's probably going to look better than a McFarlane, but it's also going to be much more expensive, and it's still going to be from the Aquaman movie. I know a lot of people do seem to like this, but I don't, I don't get it. I understand you got to make stuff. It actually looks pretty good, to be honest. But there's some things that I really didn't understand about this. No, I know you're not. I know you're not. A matter of fact, you probably think Ohio State is a school and not a football team because I don't think you give 2 shits about any type of sport. But your partner, on the other hand, well, he's just a bad man. He's just a bad, mean man that likes that football team. Anyway, back to this. I think this does look pretty good, but there's a few things that I just don't get. And that is, we all love our blast effects. We love, like rocket effects if you have a jetpack, but to have water effects, I don't know. You don't really have a background that can actually make it look like it's in water when it's in a standing display. At least none that I've seen. Maybe, maybe you guys can correct me and say, hey, you know what? I have a whole water scene where they look like they're swimming through it. So, okay. So Big Bacon says, my dad was an OSU alumni. So, listen, we all can make mistakes. You don't have to, but I get it. I I get it. I get it. It's okay. My brother-in-law played baseball at Michigan, so but I was a Michigan fan before I met my ex. So, and my daughter wants to go to Michigan to be a lawyer, and hopefully her first thing as a lawyer will be to find a way how to get Ohio out of the union. Anyway, oh, and Matthew says Oklahoma State, exactly. All right. So the boat had water effects. You're right, Greg, and I liked it. It looked good. The boat is on the water, but how do you make him look like he's actually swimming in water? You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, but that's on top of the water. Get it out now, Lawrence. No sports ball talk on Thursday. Hey, it is your show, and if you don't talk sports ball, then we're not going to talk sports ball unless if we somehow end up touching on those awful starting lineup figures that Hasbro thought that was a good idea. Anyway, this one I don't think looks bad, the effects, but the ones that where it's like all on him, I just yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And Lark, yes, I need that Toddy Mac Aquaman Seahorse. Listen, if you want to see something very incredibly funny and disturbing all at once, go check out Oz's stream from Saturday, and just wait till Kayla shuts the screen off to try and install the pole into the seahorse. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway. Anyway, Figuarts. We got this Aquaman. If you're interested, you can get it. I put it to coincide to go with McFarlane. So now Figuarts are also dropping their own Street Fighter 2 figures. Now I do not want to. I don't know enough about their figures, and I definitely don't want to stop anyone from buying them that may enjoy these. But I just find it hard. I find it hard to want to pick up something like this when Jada is doing such a wonderful job. At the same time, someone can say, "Well, I don't know why you'd want to buy a $100, roadblock Mezco when you have a perfectly good classified one." And I would have to say, you are absolutely correct, sir, or ma'am, either or. But yeah, now I don't really remember if this is how his face looked, but that is one ugly ass nose. And I apologize to anyone that's ever been compared to him, but it is one ugly nose. Now you can see the knees look very seamless here, and that is how they are kind of created. It looks like it's just baggy pants, but and again, I didn't really play the game too much. I know a lot about it, um, just because my friends played it, and I was stuck at times at Tilt, which was an arcade at the mall, watching them play for hours. If they drove and I was stuck there waiting to go skateboard with them, but did he have a butterfly comb? Which seriously those things were so much fun to play with. Those and the switchblade ones. Um, yes, Largo, I agree. The Street Fighter figs are really nice. And I'm thinking I might have to go back and get Fei Long. I'm so scared I'm going to go all in on those. Luckily, there's not too many. I don't feel like I need to have all the exclusives. But yeah, just kind of crazy what they're doing. And they're so good for $25. But when you look at the knees, you can kind of see how the knees are hidden. Now, they give different types of effects. But it is cool that they're giving effects, and they look like they probably would work pretty seamlessly with the Jada ones. Now, you have something like this. I don't know really, without using a figure stand, I don't think you're going to be able to do this. But for the price, you probably should get a figure stand to go with it. Big Bacon says, people mistake me for Guile all the time. I'm sorry. If they're comparing you to this Guile, again, I don't remember having such a pointy nose. But yeah, I don't know. Just the face sculpt, I just don't really care for. And I think this is Guile 2, version 2. He has darker, he's got darker pants. So, hey, you know what? Hey, if you like it, it's there. I'm not going to stop anyone. So here comes Jada. You might imagine what's coming. Lots of Street Fighter. So here's a look at the Ken box. As we know, Ken is just a repaint of Ryu. I'm never going to get that right. Different head, obviously, but everything else is pretty much the same. But you can see all the figures that we're going to be getting. Then this Paul Mart store gets this exclusive Ryu. Again, I'm just calling it one thing from now on. You know, down south, you're right. He kind of does look like Prince Adam. He definitely does kind of give you that Prince Adam. Uh, so, Gray Ryu now is, I mean, this is now the third Ryu that's doing. Obviously, the Guile. I'm sorry, the Ken is just a repaint. Everything's the same. So they're obviously getting their money out of some of the tooling. You can probably figure out Chun-Li. I don't know how many bucks you can use of her. I would assume Camis are close, maybe the legs and everything, but the upper torso is going to be different. But what is kind of cool about this one, and I don't know if there's an actual gray version of him, but this is a perfect exclusive. It's not one that you have to complete the regular Street Fighter set. So I think this probably wouldn't bother a lot of people, but then there's going to be people that love it, and they're going to have to get a hold of this, and they ain't going to like it. So, he's a Ryu pain. It's very good. That's very good, Big Bacon. Are you sure you're from Ohio? Anyway, you get all the same stuff that you got with. Oh, mine's up there and stabbed by Nunchuck up there, so I can't really grab them. But again, this looks really good. Hey, look, someone did the blast the right way. Also, if you don't know, if you look inside of his little blast, you can actually see the hands because he's literally throwing hands. And again, you can just get these in wonderful shots. They pose wonderful. Again, I think a lot of people already have them, but their feet are a nice size, and I've had no problem standing any of them. Not that I really have too much of an issue, but you can tell when a figure stands better. All right, so Capcom, Jada Toys, they showcased all the figures that are coming, and it's a lot, and it's good. So here we have Blanca, we got Guile, Chun-Li, Cammy, Bison, right? And then Vega, and who's the big guy? Tell me who I'm missing. Who's the big guy? Again, I didn't play. I learned all this from secondhand guys. Sagat, that's it. Oops. Yeah, Blanca was one. He was the one I remember was always like the easiest to play, and I liked him a lot. No, Matt, I didn't even think about that. I was waiting to see if I was gonna have a sneezing fit. I've told you guys before I get these sneezing fits where I'll sneeze like 25 times in a row for like 3 straight minutes. It's awful. But I kind of forgot that I do have that. Yeah, that I have that. Yes. Oh, yeah. So you guys are saying some name like Um, Zangief. That's right. So again, I don't know other names. I learned everything secondhand. Um, my eyes are watering. There's only 2 sneezes, guys. Like I say, I get these huge sneezes. Oh, these sneezing attacks for no reason. I have them while I'm driving. That's the worst. All right. So back to this. I'm glad you guys didn't leave. You guys talk amongst each other. um, and I guess I've seen people say they want G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe Street Fighter. No, I don't want that. I don't need Street Fighter G.I. Joe. I don't need Mortal Kombat G.I. Joe. You can work these into your G.I. Joes if you want. They just don't have trigger fingers, but do you really need them? So, I think all these look good. They made Blanca. I mean, he's bigger, but the way he's crouched down reminds me a lot of Beast from the X-Men. So, these are going to be available. I do wonder if Blanca and is this Zangief, the big guy, if they're going to be $25 also, or if they're going to raise the price. And as we know, places like to raise the price when figures are larger, but they never seem to decrease the price when, let's say, a figure is a R2D2, a Grogu. Let me go down the list of Super 7 when they won't lower their price, but they have no problem raising it. But yeah, you're getting all these figures, and I think this Guile actually looks better than the Figuarts. Just my personal opinion. But again, how they pose, how you can actually play around with them, that might be a whole different story. But so far, these Jada figures have just been absolutely awesome. Yeah, Snarf, you hit it. Viper Scott, that was it. Snarf. That will give you an extra head. Like I only have one Snarf. I don't need 18 heads. The collector says they will have a higher price, and they will probably raise the regular ones too. That's kind of what I was wondering, is how long they're going to stay at $25. Now, there's not much to them. There's not going to be many accessories. These accessories here, when you get to like the stands and everything, they're always, they use the same ones. They use the same ones for the Mega Man and everything. So I think it's really good. I like the idea of what they're doing. I would love for someone to stay at their price point instead of raising it, but I can definitely see them raising it. But I think $25 is a fair price. And again, if these two bigger guys are $30, then I can understand it too, because things do cost more money, as much as we may not want to admit it. But the Blanca is just absolutely awesome. Yeah, I really do like these. So yeah, you know what? Someone needs to make dioramas for these. This is like, that is a perfect. They have, they have a perfect outlet to do that, where they could do a 2 or 3 pack, where or they could just do a whole diorama where, hey, you know what? Here's the set, and you just change out the backdrop, because as we know, they always went through different stages. Again, even I remember that. But yeah, it's something you could do real easy. Kind of the same as like this NECA set here. On the back of this, if you don't have this, on the back of this, it's nighttime. It's something that easy that someone could do. Random Diorama says the backgrounds for those games would work so well for dioramas. Yeah, exactly. And you could use it for so many other things. That's kind of why when I did the one review, I actually put it up there, because it kind of reminded me of the background. No, I put it back here. I think I did when I did the Chun-Li. I put this as the background because the backgrounds were always changing. And you know what? You could do this. You could do a background with some characters that are just like there, not actual fighters, but just characters. Because I remember correctly, there was always like people cheering on, right? So why not? Yeah. So Greg says the WWE Smash card will work perfectly for a diorama for these. Yeah, like I said, there's just so much that can be done with these, and they just look really good. They pose well, so. Whew. All right, Boss Fight Studios. They only get one little thing here, but they dropped a picture of Red Sonja. And I have to say, when I was at PowerCon and I was looking at a lot of these 6-inch figures that um the 6-inch figures that Boss Fight Studios is about to come out with, they look really good. Um, they look very solid. They're very interesting. But I do have to say, like this Red Sonja, it isn't. I mean, just looking at least this face sculpt, if this is what it looks like, it looks awesome. Um, I think she looks amazing. I would love to see this. Uh, this is something that I could even see myself just kind of picking up if the rest of the figure looks as good. But what I saw at PowerCon, Boss Fight Studios, who I don't think do a good enough job of promoting their own product. I To me, I kind of feel like they're happy with where they're at and their word of mouth. I mean, they could do a live stream and probably get less viewers than what I have, and I, it just shouldn't be like that. Not for some of the product that they have. So I think this thing looks really, really good. Matthew says, I love Epic Hacks. Don't know how this will compare to the Loose Collector Red Sonja. Yeah, well, again, it's probably not going to be that expensive because Boss Fight Studios is not like crazy expensive. So I mean, that's one of the things that I really do. I really do like about it. And I think I might have actually seen. I think I might have actually seen this at PowerCon before it was painted. Ed might remember more better than I would. Um, yeah, Bruce also says the Loose Collector Red Sonja is awesome. Largo says executive replicas of Red Sonja is really nice. What scale is the Boss Fight Studio? This is 6-inch, so uh, and I believe they're like they fit like perfect 6-inch scale. So it seems like people like the Loose Collector. Just kind of looking at this. No, these are the 6-inch figures. The epics are 6-inch. Regular hacks. If I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, correct me. I believe all the epics are 6-inch figures. So that's their 6-inch line that they want to go with. And everything that I saw at PowerCon, everything they were showing, I mean, the stuff looked awesome. Uh, I just don't feel like they get like they don't get their stuff out there like so many other things there. Like I've seen more talk and stuff being put out there for Monster Force than almost all the Boss Fight Studio stuff. Uh, than almost all the Boss Fight Studio stuff. And again, I'm not gonna be upset with that because I think Monster Force looks absolutely awesome. But I just think that Boss Fight Studios could do a better job of promoting their stuff. I was shocked last year when they did their live stream, and there were so few people watching it. And you're just like, man, like you're a pretty big independent toy company. I'm shocked that there's not more people watching. So, but that's all that I had for her. Let's get into Mezco now. If you missed this, you missed it. Their Rumble Society goes pretty damn quickly. I think most people know that. I'm also shocked that Mezco's Rumble Society doesn't get nearly as much love as Mythic Legions does. And maybe it's just because Mythic Legions promotes theirs better. The Four Horse maybe just do it better. Mezco kind of just puts it out there. Boom, it's done. You normally don't have to wait when it comes to Rumble Society. That stuff is ready to go. They're the one company that puts their product out before they put out a licensed property like G.I. Joe or Batman. And I go back to Hasbro. I believe the GI Joes get put on the back burner. Maybe not so much right now because they have promises to Disney, Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios where stuff needs to be out. So GI Joe is always going to get pushed back. So anyway, this figure does look pretty badass. Part of the 1/12 scale, or 1/12 collective. And again, I have 2 Mezco right now. There's something special about them. They don't have the same articulation, I will admit, as a classified figure or a Valaverse figure. And because of the soft goods, you do fear something breaking because you can't see. But the other thing that I've noticed, at least the 2 that I have, they move very freely. So they move very freely. You never feel like you have a tight joint. But I can also tell you, I know pain is some things that he doesn't like about it. You're not going to be able to get in certain shots. But if you know what you're doing, I mean, I can get, some of these Cosmic Legions in sniper shots. And those things have even less articulation. So getting into this guy, I mean, Mezco does an amazing job with their backgrounds. They should sell all these dioramas. And they load this guy up. Like I said, if you didn't order them, you're not going to get them. But this is one of those things where people are going crazy over the figure obscuras. And I'm looking at these going, these look almost as good, maybe even, just as good. And the articulation is so much better than a Mythic Legion or for a Horsemen Studio figure, the figure obscura. And again, I got a $140 horse and headless horseman. So it's not like I'm against ordering them. But and I know they have their niche. But this guy looks amazing. I'm just kind of surprised they don't get a little bit more. Mezco gives me anxiety like Transformers Masterpiece figures. That I can kind of understand. I see those Mezco's bug-headed figures, and they do zip for me. Don't see the appeal at all. Again, and that I understand, Shark. But if you're into, like I said, if you're into stuff like figure obscuras, I'm kind of surprised that more people aren't also into this Mezco. Of course, I can't think of their name. I can't think of their name. The Rumble Society stuff. It's a cool. I mean, to me, even though I don't order them and I haven't bought any of these, it's just a cool idea of what they've done. They've created their own line, their own stuff that they're gonna do. So I think it's awesome. Again, and I just think the Mezcos are really good. I mean, they're just really nice figures. And here's another, just him fighting, but he's got like 4 ram heads, which is kind of overdo it, but you can swap them between your other Mezcos. So maybe you have, an extra Destro that you want to have a ram's head on, which probably look pretty badass, to be honest. Bruce says, well, got to go early day tomorrow night. All right, man. Well, hey, you know what? If you like the topic, be sure to check it out on the replay. And make sure you hit that like button on the way out if you have not yet. Again, I wish we could have. One thing that people have complained about Mezco, and I kind of understand, and that is that they do all these wonderful pictures, and they do the figure almost too much justice, if that makes sense. Many of us aren't going to be able to do stuff like this, to get pictures like this. So when you do stuff like this, I know a lot of people say, it looks awesome, but we can't do this. Like ours aren't going to look that good. All right. It says Liquid Identity. It only came with the black goat head and not white goat swappable. Damn shame. Have they had a white goat in the past? Because they definitely tend to have where they swap things out. So here it is. He also comes with this vulture head, which is very unique. And you'll see what I mean when we go up to the when we get to the next picture. So you're actually getting like 6 heads with this thing. Here's the goat again. Let's get to it. So it has this vulture head. As you can see, it almost looks like a squid. It's transforming in some form. But again, I wish I could buy like one of everything just so I could do a review on it and give away or sell it and just kind of make my money back. Because I would buy stuff like this, man. And again, you can mix and match this with your figure obscuros all day long. So Bartholomew Vets is his name. So here you can see he has. I'm trying to say if he has 3 or 4 heads. Maybe he only has 3 heads. They're showing him with 1 head. So maybe there's only 3 heads here. Again, the base for like these display stands are really large. All right. And they're really nice. Now I do have to tighten this one up. I realize it's too loose. So I got to tighten it. They got some really nice display stands, and they come with every one of their figures. And for the price you're paying, they probably should throw something. So here you're going to get these 2 additional heads. I've got a water bottle, water bottle of something. But again, just cool stuff. I mean, if you're into this, hey. Tony says, no Mezco for me watching Monday Night Football right now. Awesome. So Digital Diarrhea says, my issue with Mezco is I'm not going to hunt them down and give them $100. Yeah, and again, I fully understand where people have an issue with that. I understand what Mezco does. You probably think they probably have a very little stock sitting there, which is awesome. It's what a lot of Supreme, like if you know anything about like street clothing, I hate Supreme, but whatever. Supreme does drops, and those drops get done, and that's it. Like that's how long that stuff is produced. They do the same thing, especially with their own product. So I don't think that they're stuck with a lot of it. Hell, there's probably more sitting at BBTS, not this stuff because this is directly through them, than any of the other stock that they end up having. So. Darth Berkey, I have heard that. I believe Matthew would agree with you. I think that was a figure from last year, right? I believe it came out last year, and I've heard nothing but really, really good things about it. So, and then he comes with a Stario. He comes with a bunch of little cool little things. So, again, a lot of accessories, but again, you're paying a lot. And you kind of got to be into something like this. Again, I think if you're doing the figure obscura from Mythic Legions, that might be something you want. And you could work them in together because they're roughly the same scale. All right. So on to the 4 Horsemen who dropped Jacob Marley. We're still not sure if he's related to Bob Marley. I would probably say no. This guy is a little bit more pale than him. So anyway, I think this figure looks amazing. I did not order it, as I've mentioned before. I'm gonna have a car sitting in the shop that still don't know the full price, and Christmas coming, and all the other good things that go along with the wonderful world of adulthood, which I don't know what hood this was, and whoever said I wanted to be an adult, but it sucks. But I think this figure looks absolutely amazing. Here it is inside the box. It does come with all these chains, the keys. And again, I look at this at $60. Is it still available? I know Ed and them, I think you guys have already ordered it. This is something that I look at. I'm like, I just kind of want this. He'd go perfect with my this Horseman that's sitting here. This is one that I kind of feel like they could do a glow in the dark one. Now, again, would I feel like I got burnt if they did a glow in the dark and it didn't burn and I ordered this? I probably would. But everything on this looks amazing. You got the big old chains, different things like that. Now, it has this alternate head, obviously, where I'm assuming something happened. Maybe that's why he's the ghost. I do not like this head. If I was to order it, this is one that I definitely would not. I would not purchase, or I would not be using, just because it's not, you know, it's not something for me. But again, the figure just looks absolutely fucking amazing. James says, I just want to play with my Joes, no more bills. James, I'm with you, man. Like, you know what? That might be the best comment I've ever had on any of my streams. Like, I just want to sit down, play with my Joes. Listen, if I could do that, and I'd take him in the fucking dirt, in the mud, and we'd go like get him dirty and shit. And Ted Darklaw for the Bob Marley fund. Thank you very much. Super chat, always appreciated. Again, it means the world to me that you guys were willing to, anyone's willing to willing to donate anything to the channel. So thank you very much, Ted. Hurry up and get those Animal Wars of the Kingdom Wave 4 in, because I ordered 2 and I want them now. Hey, Bob Marley is my name for him. I know, that's why I said. Wait, have I been calling him Bob Marley? Have I been calling him Bob Marley? Because I know I asked you if you called him Bob Marley on purpose. Anyway, so Ed's upset with you. He's going to take a day off of being your moderator because you used his name for him. Here's the chains from the back, and I just think this thing looks awesome. He's just kind of just loaded up, and I like the blue, but if they can make this where it's glow in the dark and it actually glows, I would definitely order him. That's what kind of scares me. Like, I didn't order the Headless Horseman, and I kind of kicked myself, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because even though I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't glow in the dark as well as I would like it to, I think the color scheme actually looks better. So here's everything that he comes with. I love the door knockers. Give me some doors so I can put it on there. There's just a lot of cool things, and I'm not a big Halloween guy, but I could definitely, if I get enough Halloween figures, I can definitely see myself doing a display around that time. So, and let's say hi to Thanos Copter. If you have a strong stomach, check out his Instagram. I'd say you won't regret it, but like I said, you may just regret it. Brick said I was bummed to pass on this guy. He looks really good. I'm surprised. You guys, I thought, bought like everything Mythic Legions. Oof. All right. Let's take a break for a second. What I'm going to do is I am going to play a commercial so I can take a breather, run to the restroom, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit G.I. Joe.
Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Mossman, what are you doing back here? Oh, you see, so Skeletor, he had to go to the grocery store. He had to go buy more barbecue Pringle chips. And so he's put me in charge here for a little bit. In charge of y'all. He said, man, Mossman, I have to go to the grocery store, so I need to put you in charge of Snake Mountain. Yes, that's Skeletor. That's Skeletor. Right. Skeletor said since I was in charge, I could use the credit card and maybe go online and buy some action figures for myself. All from action figures sound kind of nice. Yes. Maybe we can go to Big Bad. Yeah, Beast Man, we don't say that around here. We go to HellDopeToys.com. They have the best prices in town, and they ship everything in one business day. One business day, Beast Man. That means I buy it, and it comes to my house super fast, and they pack it all real nice. So when I go to do my YouTube reviews for my 5 subscribers, I'll be like, oh, look at this minty fresh packaged box that I got from HelloDopeToys.com. So what are we waiting for, y'all? Let's go get that credit card and head on over to HelloDopeToys.com right now before they run out of all the good stuff.
All right, and I'm back. All right, so before we get into G.I. Joe news, there's been a lot that's happened over the past week. I think most people have heard it. Like I said, last Monday, a lot of stuff went up. The wish list from Taiwan Toys or T1 Toys, something like that. I think he's broken things before. No one mentioned it while I was on the stream because you're probably watching here, but they started going around the interwebs. So we're going to discuss a lot of that stuff that came out. The 4 figures that are pretty much confirmed by Chris McLeod. And then, And then we also have the stuff that Chad talked about. Chris McLeod also a few days later did a news burst on that, discussing that, and he talked about it and was he said, I don't really know anything about this, and he pretty much said he thought the Thunder Machine was a shoo-in, but very complimentary of Chad throughout the whole time that he was talking about it, saying, hey, you know what, a lot of these rumors I haven't heard, and he admitted, hey, I don't know everything, and there's a lot of stuff that came out of the blue. So we're going to get into a lot of what was said, and so I want to do something really quick. You guys got to check things, So, anyway, let's get into the G.I. Joe news. So the first, while we were on last Monday, Hi-Ya Toys dropped this Tiger Force Flint. Not a fan of it. I think it looks awful. But hey, if you like it, I just don't think the face looks good. I know Chris McLeod had kind of mentioned it too when the first Flint came out, that it just doesn't look that good, and I'm definitely with him on that. That the face sculpt is not really good. It is the same body. It is a different look than the Tiger Force Flint classified that we got. It still has it's still the same body, the same overlay and everything, but he has a completely different outfit or different paint schemes and everything like that. So quickly, I want to stop and say hi to Into Mystery. I don't believe that I've ever seen you here before, and I just want to say thank you for dropping in. I love when we see new people. Better than class. You know what? I disagree, man. Like, I think the classified version, I think the classified Flint face, that head sculpt is awesome. If you want to say you don't like it for Flint, that you think that he should be younger, not as grizzled, I can understand that. But the face sculpt in itself is great. Again, if you don't like it for Flint, then I can understand that. But I think, I'll say it again, the only bad face that the Joe team has done is Falcon. And believe me, they agree, right? The team agrees that face is awful. Oh, okay. You're talking. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, dude. Listen, I have I bashed that Tiger Force Flint's face, the paint. It looks like he's trying to paint on a Zorro mask. Yeah, I just don't think the face looks good in this. Like in general, I don't think the face sculpt looks good. I'm not like I don't have an attachment to Tiger Force, but they did go off, off the board with this. Now, you see they're already doing repaints. The only other figure that they've done that wasn't like a classified was, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Storm Shadow, but that is based off the original classified look. And I know that for a fact because it was specifically told to me that, hey, that's my design. And it kind of sucks to see someone else doing it. And so that sucks. I think eventually we will say a classified one. Just my personal opinion. I don't know how you can't. But the other thing that did get pointed out, and I don't remember if this is on the other Flint, but he does have Falcon's shotgun. So the question is, will they come with, is Falcon coming? The other thing here is if you were like, hey, you know what, I really, 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 really hate that pistol in classified form. Can I get it in 4-inch form? Well, guess what? You can get it in 4-inch form also. But anyway, Jada Toys. I believe these are like $25. Again, if you like it, pick it up, man. These are the 4-inch figures. They are, they're coming over here now. So I believe, they're supposed to be sold in the Asian markets, but you are able to get them through other distributors here if you do really want them. Quickly say hi to Capitan, man, Cap. I'm just going to call you Cap. Hello, Punk and fellow collectors. Oh boy, what ugly figure. Well, that's a way to come in, let me tell you that. Yeah, dude, that's a way to start it. So, anyway, there it is. So, I guess now what we can say about these higher figures is they're going to be doing repaints pretty quickly. And I would assume that we're going to have Tiger Force and Python Patrol coming. Which is kind of odd because there's been such a mixed bag of the Tiger Force and Python Patrol figures. When... One second here. So when the Cobra Island stuff was done, people were upset that it was, it was a Target exclusive. But they didn't have a specific color scheme like Tiger Force and Python Patrol. So it is one of those things that you wonder, like, is Hiya just like, hey, you know what? Let's just keep going and following what Classified is doing, because it's been such a mixed bag. There's some people that could care less about either one of those factions. So I think a lot of people are happy with Night Force just because it's dark and it fits a military style. So also last week, the O-Ring Super 7 announced that they're coming back doing O-Rings for G.I. Joe. Now, Brian Flynn says this was just worked out within like 2 weeks ago. Obviously, there has been talks of it because we saw it in the mothership. And I think this is where we're going to see whether or not O-Ring is something that is very popular. People might not want to hear this, but I think what Hasbro is doing from a corporate side of things is very smart. I think it's very smart what they're doing is they know that Classified is selling, so that's what they're going to produce, and that's what they're going to put their money behind. Here, they're going to let Super 7 take all the risk. Super 7 is taking the risks, doing the O-Rings, and it's it's one of those things where you go, all right, you know what? Um, I say, all right, Ted, man, take care, be careful. I'll be talking to you soon, I am sure. Actually, Ted is going to be the first guest on Thursday with the friend come January. So we still got 2 more this year, and then Ted will be on as long as he doesn't cancel on me. So, in this interview with Brian Flynn, I'm going to remove this here. So, in this interview with Brian Flynn, uh, he talks about a lot of different things. He said the contract wasn't done till about 2 weeks ago. You know my feelings on him. I'm not sure when he's lying, when he's telling the truth, because he tends to go back and forth. You catch him in a lot of different lies. He specifically said he doesn't even want to do O-ring because he likes 5 points of articulation. Maybe that was just a cover up, but why would you even say that? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, we can't do it right now? Now, what he did discuss is what they're going to be basically focusing on is Sunbow and Deke, and then some of the cartoon or some of the comic book figures. And they're going to be figures that it'll probably be figures. I'm not going to say they are because I have no confirmation. Probably be figures that we have not gotten before. The Woodsman that they already did in reaction form. So I think we're going to see some stuff like that. And I think that'd be actually kind of cool. Actually, I know that would be cool because the last thing that I want to do when it comes to O-ring, and I do still collect O-ring when there's stuff out there, is I want new figures. I don't need Gung Ho version 1 redone. I already have Gung Ho. It's great for people that don't have it. I don't need another Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Give me a newer version, something different with the Cobra Officer, Cobra Trooper, stuff like that. So I don't want the exact same stuff. I want some new figures, figures that we never got. Someone give me a fucking Billy for the love of God. But yeah, so there's stuff like that. But I think this is really good, or could be really good. The Sunbow thing. Okay, you guys all know my feeling. Zorn, you know what? That is right there. A shooter O-ring. Exactly. Like that to me is perfect. It brings now the OG 14, right? And James Lucas says Billy. Listen, if you ever listen to me, I've asked Lenny point blank, can we get a Billy? I want a fucking Billy. I don't know why Billy isn't there. But I think this works out great. Now, you guys know my feelings. Well, most of you. I can't say all of you. My feeling is the G.I. Joe lore is not the cartoon. Yes, I watched the cartoon. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind some of the characters from there. I'm not going to, lie about that or anything like that. But there's a lot of people that's what they think of. They didn't read the comic. They don't know that Larry Hama he's the G.I. Joe father for the O-ring, for the Real American Hero. He is the father. It is not the cartoon. But a lot of people want that type of stuff, and that's what you're going to get. So people will finally get what they've always wanted as kids because you watch in the cartoon. And I think now, we've already seen what they do with reaction figures. And again, the reaction figures look pretty good. But again, they look really good on a card. Nobody really wants them. And I'm just going to say it. Okay, listen. I don't know if you're being funny or not, but the answer is no. Oh, wait a minute. You're being funny. But yeah. So, for me, it's, Larry Hama is the one that has absolutely created G.I. Joe. It doesn't mean that everything that he said is right. But it's like George Lucas. George Lucas created Star Wars. Even if you don't like some of the stuff, guess what? It was his identity. It was his thing that he was doing. Liquid Identity says, I've been wishing for Classified to go October Guard after Dreadnoks. I doubt it will ever happen. I'm with you. I doubt that it will happen just because of everything that's going on in Russia. And no, this is not a reason to go political, people. I actually fucking almost talked like Donald Trump there. that was by accident. That was completely by accident. And that's too bad. And again, I know people have talked about, well, they can make the October Guard from somewhere else, but again, Hasbro is a very politically correct company. Now, will they allow Super 7 to do it? That's a whole nother question. Actually, they are coming out with one of the reaction figures. I think in the line is a October Guard. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is one coming. Captain really says, I received like 3 emails, his shipping related, and nothing yet. These motherfuckers are playing with us. No, so what I think what they're doing is they're creating all the labels. And then once all the labels are created, they'll start slapping them on the boxes and start shipping them out. Because if you have, first up, okay, since you brought it up real quickly, listen, if you don't have the FedEx manager, you need to get it. I only got it because of Mezco. You have to sign for your HasLabs. So if someone's not going to be around to sign, not an 18-year-old with an ID, you have to sign for it. And if you're not going to be home, if you have the FedEx app, the manager app, which you have to like kind of sign up for, you can tell it to ship it to another location where you can pick it up later. All right. But yeah, the October Guard, yeah, I would love to have them. So, but I think with this O-ring, we're going to find out whether or not it's actually going to work. I've been saying that I think it's the same people that are buying O-rings going round and round and round and round. And that's great. I like some O-ring, obviously, or I wouldn't still have a giant room full of, well, it's not a giant room. It's a small room full of a giant aircraft carrier. Yeah, Diana from the cartoon. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so Big says, yeah, Diana's coming. So that kind of says that Hasbro's told them, yeah, you can do October Guard. Now, they may make them change some things. We'll find out. Hasbro, obviously, they're kind of controlling with the stuff. So, anyway. So, for the mothership, they have pushed up. They give you the O-ring officer and the O-ring officer and what's the other thing? The reaction officer. Now, let's go look at this really quick because I haven't paid attention, but it had not moved at all. Oops, that's Entertainment Earth. This is wonderful YouTubing right here. Let's see here. Where is it at? There's the mothership. Yeah, so it is still sitting on. Yeah, this thing's not going to fund. So it says 7 days ago. It's at 1,471 backers. It needs 4,000 to hit the goal. I don't think it's going to hit. It is bad timing. I've said this before, that this is all bad timing to do any type of crowdfunding, especially something that's going to cost you $650 after taxes and shipping, because shipping is $100. $100 flat, no matter what. Even if you're like, can go pick it up from their store. And again, I would love to get this, but I'm also not going to spend $650 on it. You could buy a Terradrome for that price. You could buy a flag, not complete, for something like this. So, but I think a little too late. They really should have pushed all O-rings into this. They should have promoted that they're coming out with the O-ring line before they even did this. But it is a bad timing. and I'm wondering if he's just willing to eat his loss. You know, if you've been listening to me long enough, you'll know what I said when it comes to um when it comes to that cat slayer. He was not going to let that thing not fund, and I think he just pushed it through. Um, Zoran says Crimson Strike Team O-ring. You know, it's not something that I really need. I want like new characters that have never been done, strange ones. And even though I'm not like a huge, cartoon fan, I don't want Fatal Fluffies, but the Window Viper, the Window Viper would be pretty cool. But yeah, and he's gonna. And the other thing that he said is he's gonna try and keep it down to $20. Now, Payne brought it up too. He brought it up when I was on with him, and he said like if there's $20, it just tells you how overpriced the reaction figures are. And I'm 100% with him because an O-ring is going to cost more to produce. I don't know how much more, but it is. There's more to an O-ring than a 5 points of articulation figure. All right, but the O-rings are coming back. They're Super 7 exclusive now, other than what's going to come out with the Transformer crossover. And it sounds like the G.I. Joe has, or Hasbro has, they still control the master molds of their original stuff. So they can redo, Gung Ho, Roadblock, whoever they want. Again, I don't need those figures again. Zoran says new original Viper O-ring ideas such as carbon freeze Viper. Yeah, like everything like that would be really cool. It's just something different. Captain says I'm hooked up with classified. Period. No OD here, folks. Too much plastic crack lately. No way. Hey, dude, I fully get it, man. I have no problem. I have no problem with people that don't want to collect O-rings, 4-inch figures. They're all in on the 6-inch line, the classified line. I get it, man. Like, it's an expensive proposition to go down both lines. And for me, I prefer the classified line right now. Probably because I still have so much of my O-ring stuff, and I've collected it for so long. But like I just picked up a nunchuck. Now, a lot of the reason why I picked up nunchuck was so I could compare them in my review that will be out at 4:00 tomorrow in the afternoon. Just so, yeah. And yeah, so stuff like this. Give us a comic accurate pit play set or Chaplin's assistant motor pool. Dude, there's like, oh my god, there's so much stuff. Not enough room. But again, one of the issues comes is how much this stuff's going to cost, because we know Super 7 is overpriced. So anyway, that's the O-ring news. The HISS tank. Okay, so these things will be shipping soon. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have the FedEx app, and especially if you're FedEx manager, and you need to, just because it works for anything FedEx, you have to sign up for it. They send you something, they get your signature on file, and then you send it back. And then you can move things. You can have this shipped to your office if you don't want, let's say, your lady friend to find out that you spent $350 on a toy. If you're not going to be home to sign for it, you can send it to a FedEx station, like a Walgreens if they do it, or just their satellite stations, and you can go pick it up. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. So, and I only did that because of Mezco, because Mezco requires a signature, and it definitely worked out for me when it came time for the Sky Striker, because I didn't know that I had to sign for it. So it really shocked me. So Cap, the labels have all been created. Well, I can't say all of them. My label has been created. It is just sitting there. And if I go and look right now, I'm going to assume it's still just sitting there. But if I refresh, yeah. So labels have been created. They're sitting there. Again, probably not slapped on them because they're not going to ship out like 3 or 4 in a box. Like each one's going to go out individually. So I'm assuming once they have them, they're just going to start slapping these labels and kicking them to FedEx, and FedEx people are probably going to fucking hate them. Oh, look, it classified his tank. I wonder when we'll see them do a HasLab of this. People would lose their mind. Yeah. One honor, if my lady friend ain't down with figs, she got to go. Listen, they might be down with it, but sometimes they're not down with you spending 300 plus on an action figure or toy. But I understand what you're saying. I fully do understand what you're saying. But these things will be going out soon. I can't wait. I have 2 3D printed HISSes. I mean, I'm going to be breaking these things down, doing reviews on them. I mean, I'll probably quickly do an unboxing of it just to show you, show everyone, how it does look. People that are going to be looking at buying on the aftermarket. Hey, can someone help a friend out? I need one for my son. He wasn't in the classified when this thing came out. I'm looking to get it at cost. Yeah, good luck. But I'm definitely going to do a video where I will compare it to 3D printed HISSes. And not because I have an issue with people that have 3D printed HISSes, as I have 2 of them, but there have been some, I'm just going to call them fools, that try to say that their 3D printed HISSes are just as good as the HasLab before it came out. And believe me, I've seen it. I have the 3D printed HISS, 2 of them. They still are pricey. Honest to God, if you were to spend $2 or $250 on a 3D printed HISS, that's probably what it should cost you, because no one takes into account that whoever's printing it, they need to also make money on it. No one realizes how much something may have failed and they had to start all over again. You're going to use different filaments, especially for the ones with the working treads. But I do want to show off the difference between them. So I'll be, yeah. You got to make some money back on this, right? You got to create some content using this. And I'm not sure how many people are willing to break down and just kind of, not break it down, but just compare it to a 3D printed one. And see what the scale is and what the size is. And yeah, there's a lot to it. So, but get ready. If you don't, this is coming, and you do have to sign for it. That is the big thing. Understand that they will not drop it off at your house. You are going to have to sign for it. So make sure when you know that it's out, either you leave work, your wife is home, or you intercept your wife so she doesn't know that you bought it. 2 separate unboxings, 1 fig, 1 vehicle. So I will be doing the figures. I'll be probably reviewing all the figures all at once. At this point, I probably will not be opening the Cobra Commander. It's just one of those things that I think will be worth money down the road. And even though they haven't technically announced it, I'm pretty sure we know that they are that we're getting a classic Cobra Commander. So I just don't want to. I don't know. I'm not an inbox collector, but I just don't know if I can get myself to. I just don't feel like I can get myself to open that carded figure. And believe me, I can only imagine how long this thing's going to take me to do. You guys think that I've run that I've taken time doing other reviews. Yeah, so that's kind of why I want to get the thing out, and we'll go from there, and we'll see how much my phone can actually take recording the stuff. But you guys know how it goes. I have never been a fan of. I've never been a fan of the dwarves. Like, I've never really listened to them. So the answer would be no. Although I've seen them in person. I mean, I've actually seen them in concert, but I never really listened to them for some reason. Yeah, retro helmet for sure. Although, like when I asked Lenny, I thought that it was confirmed because Chris McLeod had talked about it so many times, and that was one of the things that I was almost worried that Hasbro was going to say you got to edit that out. But I don't even think they watched the video that I did with them, to be honest. Anyway, so these got leaked, and whew, I got excited, and I think everyone else got excited too. So we do have Metalhead here. I always forget his name. He was after my time. So here's the one that I was talking about earlier. It is one of those things where it's like he's a really dumb figure. I remember I even told Lenny that. But they made him look awesome. They did a really good job of everything that they did with him. So we've seen him. Obviously, he's already up for pre-order. Big Boa, I'm really on the fence. I will pick it up. I was never a Big Boa fan. It was one of the figures that I didn't get as a kid. But I really wish they would have done more. Now I know people say, "Hey, you know what? You know, he's just their trainer. That's why he comes with weights." You know, but he really should have come with like. I know people may not like this, but a deluxe version where maybe he has a weight bench. You know, they already have a weight bench, and I might have to swing by Ollie's, as I think it's at Ollie's, with their Fortnite figure. And it's unfortunate that they do not cross accessories with other brands because they're completely independent. But he should have had like a a bench, obviously with a bar, and then he should have had a punching bag, and it should have been a state of the art punching bag. You know, that looks like a real punching bag, not like what he came with. So they should have done a deluxe, given him a little bit more, made him an actual trainer. That's the dioramas type of stuff that people want to see. Airborne was one of my favorite figures as a kid. I can't wait to see this in person. I really can't wait to see this in person, man. Like, I know people have been upset that he doesn't look enough Native American. You're looking at digital renders. And sometimes, I guess, making a figure, a certain way. I don't get what the hate was with this, but I can't wait for that figure. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And then obviously the torpedo repaint down there. That's going to be, I think, one of the biggest army builders. I think the torpedo is an awesome body. It's an awesome buck. But when you look at this, they're giving him all different types of weapons, which I think is awesome. He does have the same harpoon gun. He has the explosive pack that came with Snake Eyes, and the same MP5 that comes with Torpedo. But the face that makes him black is actually Torpedo's face, and then the white face is a completely different face. So you're able to make a SEAL team that you want, but they gave him different accessories that will actually make him feel like, hey, you know what? If I bought 2, 3, 4 of these, I have an actual SEAL team. They have different accessories that they're going to carry into battle. So I cannot wait. James Lucas, no, Big Boy has 2 different heads. So the one thing that people, and I will agree with, the Big Boa, the base should have had the mask on it, and the head should have been next to it. And I want to say that it was Chris McLeod that made a comment like, well, maybe they, it would kind of look stupid having a floating head. But if I remember correctly, I believe the GI Joe, I'm sorry, the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow movie figures, they didn't have the heads on the figures; they were just floating there. So it's really no difference. So, If you look at it, I believe it is. I pointed it out before, and some other people looked at it and they said the same thing. You can kind of tell by the big nose. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the black face is Torpedo's face. The white face is definitely a different one. And I can't believe we're talking like this. But yeah, so I mean, Tony, I might be wrong, but I was pretty sure when I looked at it, and some other people zoomed in on it and they said the same thing. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're all right." All right. I think this is what a lot of people have been waiting for. I was actually perfectly fine with the other Duke. What I did not like was the stupid shin guards, but I understand what people want. They want OG Duke. I don't like Duke. I mean, I'm gonna buy it and review it, and you know, but I've never really liked Duke. Not from being a kid, but you're basically getting everything, everything that you wanted. Now, people thought they talked about bringing back the white border. I don't think they ever said they were putting the white border on this. They did specifically say they were putting the white border on the O-ring figures that came with the HasLab. Now, why they wouldn't throw it on here, it definitely does make a difference. I still hate the bubble. It's huge. We don't need to see every single accessory laid out right there. They could be partly behind it on the side. The bubble just looks bad. I look at the Star Wars ones and I'm like, hey, that looks really good. This just doesn't look right. And they're just trying to fit everything in there. I don't like that. That's the one thing that bothers me. But I think everything else looks really good on it. Give me 1 second here. All right. And I can see like Zorn, he said the same thing. I agreed about the bubble pack. They're just I don't know why. Like, why did they decide that they had to do them so fucking big? There was no reason to, especially when you looked at like the retro Star Wars cards. They're not like that at all. This is not what the retro cards look like as a kid. And again, I understand you have to do some stuff, but you could have put some of these weapons on the side of them. Obviously, that pistol has a holster. Just put the pistol in the holster. I don't need it. I don't need that. Um, but hey, I'm gonna open mine, so I don't really care. But I can tell you that these cards they're large. They're so damn big. Um, and Shango 730, I've never seen you, and you come in saying I've never liked Duke either, and that makes me like you. I hated him, man. I mean, I did. Okay. Again, I was spoiled as a kid, so I did get the mail away. That is for sure. But yeah, I didn't care for him. I still don't care for him. Though I think the figure looks really good. And you know what they didn't do on this? They didn't give him a fucking screaming face like they feel like every Duke has to have. All right. I don't have a problem with the first Scarlet, the face sculpt. I know a lot of people complain that she seemed too yes, yes, well the O face. The O face. um and Graf shows up, but that's not Graf. Sergeant Hauser doesn't like you either. Good. Good. He's an asshole. All right. You know what? I was gonna highlight you, but everyone keeps jumping down. There you go. Anyway, I don't have a problem with the first Scarlet face. I do have a problem with the articulation. And that was rectified. I actually think that until this one showed up, the movie Scarlet was the best looking Scarlet that they did. From what I can see on this is spot on. They gave her the ponytail, but at the same time, you could also remove it. You get her crossbow, but they also give her the M16. So you can kind of recreate that one, the one cover where I believe it's her and Snake Eyes are going up, and there's Cobra Troopers on the other side, and she's carrying the M16, or maybe she's carrying the M16 into the landmine field. I don't know. There's been so many different ones, but they give her the crossbow, they give her an M16. Now they are giving her the same backpack. Again, I don't know if we really need that. The same backpack that is coming with who is it? The Valkyries. But that's just going to be so she can store the M16. You know how they are. They want to be able to make sure that they can store as much stuff on their person as possible. And I got to stop because he doesn't come in nearly enough as I'd like him to. Matt O'Brien, who used to be in every single G.I. Joe stream. I don't see you very much, man. I hope everything's going well with you. It was great to have you here, man. Like, I hope you're going to stick around and continue to be around because you, listen, you're a big part of this Joe community, even though you didn't even have an icon, but everyone knows you. A matter of fact, I thought you and my moderator might have been the same person a long time before I was doing any types of live stream. So, but I think this figure is awesome from what I can see. We already knew she was coming because we saw the Dragonfly and Glenda. I know I said it, Glenda. I know that upsets everyone. You know, people are very upset over that. So, I don't know. He's probably going to watch Chad, remember? I don't know. I haven't seen Five Ash in a while, man. Where is it? Yeah. I'm never gonna get it. God, I hate when these things jump, man. Me like Glenda. Me likey Glenda. Yeah, Payne, you're pushing your agenda. Huh? That's what it is. You're just pushing your agenda to get more female figures that people no one really knows that I want locked behind a paywall. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I really am not going to get into that because we've already discussed that right there. Anyway, so these are the figures that they did show off. And Matt O'Brien, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I'm good, brother. Work has just been crazy. Glad to catch this with some of my faves: Lawrence, Roman, Matthew, Matson, Tony. Shh. He's with my daughter right now. I love Roman, but when he leaves me alone during his stream, it's amazing. He hasn't come in here and really bothered me. So thank you very much for the super chat. Again, greatly appreciated. Again, I can only thank you guys so much. Anyway, so these are the figures we've actually seen. We obviously know there's still the Recondo to come and some other ones. Whew. All right, so these were the leaks that came out. I want to say while we were on last, or no, did they come out? When they come out? I don't know. I think those pictures came out while we were on. This came out a couple days later. So anyway, T1 Toy, who I believe has broken other stories before. So I don't think this is like. Now he came out and said this is a wish list. And Viper Island said, hey, a lot of people ran with this and they shouldn't have. And he pointed fingers and said, that's why we're not like that. The guy he makes up shit as it is and fucking gets all this wrong, but he's going to point his fucking finger. So when I was watching the Full Force Weekly, they were talking about it and someone chimed in and said, this is someone's wish list. And this was not someone that I knew. And Chris said, yeah, I know it said it was a wish list, but We're reporting on it, so read between the lines. Sometimes you just have to read between the lines. If Chris McLeod tells you something is coming, it is coming. It's not that he's a shill, not a shill like everyone says, but he's basically he's their voice, their mouthpiece. They let him know things when he wants it to, when they want it to go out, they let him know. He knows what he can and cannot say. And again, I think they do it with a lot of people. I've been told stuff and I don't even talk to them that much, but Chris has a personal relationship. So Lenny, probably Emily, but more Lenny than anything, will let him know, like, hey. And sometimes he slips up, like finding out there's an Iron Grenadier bat coming. If you didn't know that, there's an Iron Grenadier bat coming. So anyway, Lenny has been talking about Road Pig since the beginning of the classified line, so I don't think that this is a shock. Todd C says Viper Island named off every figure so he can say he was the first to call it. You know what? It goes back to the Guru saying that Motu is going to end, and like Geek Dead Life, like they used to always say, eventually the line's going to end. I mean, every line ends, and then he can say, "See, I was right." So anyway, wait, and Matt O'Brien comes in with that, yo, leave Viper Island alone. He just broke news recently that Samuel L. Jackson is going to be the upcoming dog figure. Oh, we discussed that one. I mean, has he? I know someone went in on him again. But anyway, Road Pig is going to be a big buck. There's no doubt about it. He has to be huge. He's going to have to be at least as big as Gung Ho and a Roadblock. And I could see them maybe even doing a little bit bigger, or I could see them making him the same size. I also feel like they could do in scale with another figure that is announced, but you're seeing these Dreadnoks fill, but there's been no monkey wrench yet. And I'm not gonna be one of those people saying, "Oh, you know what? You got to do them all. You got to do this one first." I don't have a problem waiting because I know we're gonna get them all. But I always like Monkey Wrench. He was probably my second favorite right after Torch. So here's the thing: Slaughter is actually smaller, if I remember correctly, than Gung Ho and Roadblock. So they use the same upper torso, but their legs are a little bit different, which makes him a little bit shorter. Or vice versa, something like that. But Gung Ho and other than this guy behind me, Serpentor, Roadblock and Gung Ho are the biggest JoJo figures. They're very, very large, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think he's got to be that big. Starduster. This is one that I gotta say is kind of like just thrown out there, right? Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Tony Fig says Sarge has outback legs, so that would be the reason why he would be shorter, right there. But he has the same big upper body. But yeah. Oh, and Bazooka, Bazooka is the same way. He uses different boots, and that's why his boots don't seem to fit properly. So he has, I believe, Gung Ho's legs. He has different boots, and that's why they don't set properly. And then he has a completely different torso. So he's big and bulky like them, but shorter. For a while there, I was looking way too much into these fucking figures. That's the only reason why I knew it. And some people kind of, at first, if you watch my older reviews, I did things a little bit differently. I don't do them the exact same anymore, but I got yelled at by a lot of different people because I would say something that they didn't like, because that's what adults do, right? So anyway, Starduster here, clearly just like repaint. All right, repaint. He's a completely mashup. They have everything that you already need other than a face sculpt. I don't remember too much about Starduster other than he's very expensive if you want to get an O-ring version. Um, but yeah, so these coming. This is not one that I would have even had on the list of. This is not even one I would have had on the list of figures to do. But I don't have a problem with it because if I don't want it, I don't have to get it. And they're not using. I mean, they're gonna, obviously a new head mold probably, but they're not gonna. This is gonna be all reuse, and that is how you expand your budget. And there's going to be people that want this. Now, if this is let's say some sort of exclusive where he is like a cereal, he comes with a cereal box, that would actually be pretty damn cool. So, um, Greg says, I have no idea who Starduster is, and no need. And do we need him now that we have Steel Corpse? Well, I mean, again, he was the cereal. Uh, if someone explain exactly, he was on the cereal box. I think he was a mail away from the cereal box, and that's what they're gonna give you. I mean, again, like they just want to increase that budget. And Greg, I know you'll be buying them. Okay? I know everything that you fucking buy. So here we have Heart Wrencher. Now this was kind of one that was kind of thrown in there, as you might imagine. Uh, they want another Dreadnought. And again, people are going to say, what about Monkey Wrench? Why isn't Monkey Wrench there? They're throwing in Nagahide. You pretty much have them all that, other than Thrasher, who, if they do a Thunder Machine, we'll be talking about that shortly. They're going to be, they're going to be doing it. They're going to be getting to all that stuff. So this was kind of thrown in, but when you look at it, you look at everything that she has, there's going to be a lot of repaint from Zorana. And hopefully they'll correct the arms. Now, I don't have an issue with my arm popping off, but again, I'm not stupid enough to not look and see all those videos and go, yep, there was a fucking problem. And obviously, you've seen my cover girl video where her arm just kind of popped off. It pops back on, but a kid couldn't play with it. Like an adult can move it around. So, don't worry, Tony. You made a Monkey Wrench. They're going to make it. So they're just going to, I think there's going to be a lot of repaint. Obviously, there'll be some new stuff, but for the most part, they're just going to repaint. Hopefully, they'll fix the arm, but I doubt they will. They don't tend to go back and fix the molds when there are problems. And that's disappointing. That's one of the problems that I've had. I've talked about it with the Vipers, with Snake Eyes version 2. Version 2 is the O-ring version 2 is what I call it. They've always been loose. They don't go back and they don't fix it. And this is where I said, like a small company like Valiverse, every time he's had an issue, even though most of his, all his figures are just repaints or swaps or repaints, that's how you get money out of your line. He's gone back and he's fixed them. And Hasbro's just a big corporation that says, fuck it, you're going to buy it. And it's kind of disappointing. So, quickly, Will R says, started out as a mail away on the cereal box and later was added to the mail away catalog. Still remains as one of the most expensive 3 3/4 figures to this day. Don't know about him. We need him. Yeah, I know he's expensive because one of my buddies around here said, hey, a friend of mine or a guy I know is selling a Starduster. He's kind of expensive. And I'm like, and I went and looked him up and I'm like, how much does he want? And he's like, 800. And I'm like, I'm not spending $800, especially not an O-ring figure. I was like, thanks for thinking about me, but I'm not spending $800 on a fucking figure. All right. It was crazy. Or maybe I don't remember. It was so, I was like, okay, well, no need to worry about that. Anyway. And then the next one is Corolla. If you've been watching my channel, you know my thoughts on Cobra La. I knew it was coming. I fucking hate Cobra La. I hate every fucking thing about it. I knew it was coming. In the back of my mind, there's a little glimmer of hope that they wouldn't. But they did it. So this is the way I look at this. I know he was really big in the cartoon. And to me, I kind of looked at this and said, this is where you could kind of do however you could use this buck as the same buck that is going to be used for Road Pig. And people pretty much told me, no, you're an idiot, you're stupid. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I could see them doing this because both those guys are just huge. Or I could also see them using parts from Serpentor here because of how big he is. Now, I know people said he's got to be bigger than Serpentor because he was in the cartoon. I believe they made Serpentor just too big in general. I'm glad that he's bigger than the other figures, but he's like honest to God, over 7-inch figure. I mean, he's fucking huge. So, and he does tower over everyone, including Roadblock and Gung Ho. So, but this is coming, which means the rest of them are coming. Hopefully, it is short-lived. Hopefully, they end up at Ollie's for $5 and nobody wants them, and they say we should not have done it. But yeah, so Nemesis Enforcer, it is coming. Chris McLeod pretty much confirmed all of this. And this, again, if he confirms it, then you know that it's actually coming. All right. There's a Hasbro stream. But we're going to talk about that in a second. So we're going to remove this here. So let's talk about some of the stuff that Chad talked about. I found it very interesting. He said he'd been sitting on stuff for quite some time, and if you go check out It's Chad, you can watch the video. It's like a 25-minute video where he talks about all the rumors that that he has heard. I don't feel Chad has any reason to lie about anything. I mean, that would just be, it'd be stupid. Viper Island, he lies about shit. Chad is pretty, he's pretty well known in the G.I. Joe community. He also doesn't collect a lot of the stuff, but he also knows a lot of the people in the community. And again, if you start talking to people, it's not that hard to it's not too hard to figure out, and it's not too hard to get to know people that may still have connections to Hasbro. So the one thing was, he said he knew about the O-ring stuff that was coming, and then he talked about the new that there are new classified vehicles coming. He said he knows that the Snowcat and the Thunder Machine are coming, and they will not be HasLabs. Now, I'm not, I've been the one that's saying that I think the Thunder Machine would be perfect for a HasLab because you could do so many cool things with it for your add-ons. You could have your basic one, then you could have like a Charger front end. You could have different guns. You could have different jet engines in the back, and you could swap and do all different types of things because that vehicle was literally just smashed together. But he said that it is not going to be, and that classified is going to have a $150 to $200 price range in vehicles. Now, I would probably say that a Snowcat would run $150, and the Thunder Machine would probably be in the close to the $200 range. I don't want this because I don't know if I have the money, and that's where I have to kind of pull back and say, you know what? Now I'm being outpriced. Vehicles are big. Space is a concern. There's no doubt about it. And I'm seeing a lot of like the Tiger Cat. Yes. So this actually does make a lot of sense. If you did the Snowcat, I still think the Snowcat might be. I still think the Snowcat. I don't know how people in warmer climates if they really care about it. And Soren, yes, I know you want the slugger. I know, I know, I know you do. I know. I just want you to know that I read it, okay? That I saw your comment. You want the slugger. Um, um, so Snowcat, yeah, you could do, there's different things they could do. They could do the version of the Havoc with it. So, and then they could do the Tiger Paw or whatever that is. Again, I just don't know if people want snow stuff because people in the desert that have never seen snow, I don't know how much they really care for that type of stuff. But again, it is possible. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I think getting into $150 to $200 range, I think this is where you're really going to see a problem. We saw it with Star Wars, and that was, before everything has skyrocketed. These things get really big, really, really quick. But that's what he's reporting. Now, to me, Thunder Machine, do you have one? It can be used one time. I mean, it's not something that can be repainted. It's not something that can be redone. You can't reuse different parts. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to not be a HasLab. The one thing that does worry me is that if they have a new price point coming of 150 and 200, is that them saying, well, there's no reason to have a $275 or $300 price range of a HasLab. It should go to 400. And that's very worrisome because as much as I would love a Rattler, I don't want a Rattler. I don't have space for a Rattler. I have this fucking Robo Skull coming. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, and it's huge. When you see it compared to the original Robo Skull, you're like, oh my god, that thing is huge. I stream twice a week, but the second time is not toy related. It's either about movies or it is Thursday with a friend. We will probably usually talk some toys, but it's not centered like this is. So yeah, it worries me that that's what they if that's what they're going to do. And we'll see. As I mentioned, I don't think Chad has any reason to lie about stuff. Again, when you lie about things, unless if you're going to build your channel off telling lie after lie after lie and buying subscribers, it comes back to bite you in the ass. We're seeing channels that do this type of stuff. It serves no purpose. So I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll find something out this week on Thursday. Then Chad also brought up that he had heard, and he said this was kind of the shocker, is that somewhere along the lines they are looking to bring back the 4-inch modern design. And there is some rumor about, some talk about there being like a collector's club again. Now, he did talk that it's just like the Maddie collector. I'm not sure what he's talking about, the Maddie collector. I quickly caught him talking to Chaz this weekend, and he said basically the Maddie collector is they're still doing the Maddie collector by doing crowdfunding over on Mattel Creation. Now, I don't know if it's the same. I've never heard anyone really refer to that as Maddie collector. But I'm not gonna, I didn't think that was like Maddie collector. But he said that there's rumors that these 4-inch figures are going to come back as a collector's club. So you would subscribe to it, and then you're going to buy all the figures or however you do it. I wasn't part of any collector club. I wasn't collecting back then, so I can't speak on that and how it's actually done. But that would explain why Haya is not allowed to sell here in the US directly. Why you have to go through a third party to get Haya stuff. And I kind of saw that coming anyway. And I'm not talking about this. I just thought that there was that it was coming, that they were going to be doing 4-inch figures eventually again. And that's one of the reasons why they weren't going to allow Haya to sell directly in the US markets. And I guess it makes sense to a point. They do some weird stuff, but I mean, they allow Mezco to do 6-inch. Now, maybe because they're only going to do, 4 or 5 figures a year, they think it's not really that big of a deal. And right now, we can see that Haya is starting to pump out the G.I. Joe figures. So there's that to look at. And I guess that'd be a true test if Hasbro does that. He also talked about that he had heard that with the O-rings being done over at Super 7, that G.I. Joe is still going to have support vehicles, doing some of the old molds, or maybe even doing some new molds, where you still have stuff maybe like the All Striker, the HISS tank, different things like that. So you would still have that to use. Super 7 would have to create them. Hasbro would have the molds. They could do it. They make some money. And Super 7 could potentially focus on other vehicles, because that's Super 7 wants to focus on O-ring vehicles and reaction vehicles that haven't been done before. You know what everyone wants? Everyone wants that dual cannon HISS tank that's larger than the rest of them that we saw in one of the episodes. That's what people want. I can foresee that coming with Super 7. So there's just a lot there's a lot of news that came out. Now Chris McLeod talked about it, and he said, "Hey, I don't have any confirmation in any of this, but at the same time, I'm also not saying that it's not true." I thought Chris was very complimentary about it, because he said he even checked, and no one will confirm or deny anything, but all the stuff kind of lines up and makes sense when you actually think about it. But I guess we'll see, because there's so much. There's just so much news that kind of came out, and I think maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out some stuff coming, this Thursday. Todd C says, "I just don't think Hasbro should saturate the Joe line. We are not in dire shoes like Star Wars. Riding the classified train is a smarter way to go." And again, so that's what I've talked about. Is I believe there is a place for O-ring figures, not just G.I. Joe, but O-ring figures, O-ring lines, O-ring companies, Delta 17. Who's the again? You guys know them all. I can't think of them. Call Sign Logbow, Operation Recall. But I think when Hasbro looks at it, like, hey, you know what? Where can we make our money? We've done the O-ring how many times, and it doesn't sell all that well. We've done the modern 4-inch. It doesn't sell all that well. Collectors have now moved to prominent. Collectors have moved more to a 6-inch scale, and I'm not saying all of them. Again, I have a whole G.I. Joe room, dedicated to 4-inch and O-ring figures. So again, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that, hey, you know what? I don't collect the stuff. I prefer the classified line and the 6-inch line just because it's just more fun to me. I think it's just something new. But I still collect O-ring stuff. I still want to continue to pick up figures and vehicles that I don't have in my, my vintage O-ring. And when I see new things, if I had the money, I would buy that. I would back that mothership in a heartbeat, because it looks badass. There's no doubt about it. But again, you can say whatever you want. I can say whatever I want, when it comes to that mothership, but it's kind of like this. Like, as of right now, my car is going to cost like $2,400 to fix. That thing's going to be $650. It's over a quarter of what my car is going to cost to fix. That is crazy to think about, to spend on a toy that you don't even know how long that line is going to work. And the other thing was, when you first looked at the mothership, it looked like it was made for reaction, but he was going to throw in some O-ring figures. This is why I said they really should have gone all in on O-ring and let everyone know, hey, these are the lines that are coming. Boom, here is this. It was the wrong way to do it. He did this. He tried doing this big bang, showing some O-ring figures, which then people said, hey, you know what? They all got to be coming, right? They got to be getting this O-ring, the O-ring line. But yeah, so it's just crazy. Baldy says, people sent me nasty messages when I said O-rings are still alive. Keep it limited and fun. I like Transformers crossover, and it's what we dreamed of as kids. I'm with you, but I also think about the Transformers crossover. I think that's more on the Transformer side than the G.I. Joe side, and that's why if you go look for it on Hasbro Pulse, you find it on, at least you used to. You would find it on the Transformer side, not on the Joe side. Again, I don't understand, and I did the whole topic last week, I believe, about why are people fighting? Like, is it that big of a deal in other communities? I have no problem with it. You look at Star Wars, and they have 3 different lines that are going. 3 different adult collecting lines. You have the vintage, the retro, and then you have the Black Series. With them, it's actually kind of flipped. People have soured on the Black Series. I don't think people have soured on the Black Series because they don't have vehicles or playsets. I think they've soured on the Black Series because, unfortunately, for Star Wars, for Hasbro to make up their money, they have to put out these carbonized stuff and these slightly different paint apps, because Boba Fett can only be Boba Fett. Han Solo can only be Han Solo. You can only change those bucks so much. G.I. Joe, numerous bucks. Valiverse has been able to push out different figure after different figure after different figure, but $3.50 in 3 years, right? Like, that's what he's done, and he's done it marvelously. You look at the Hasbro stuff, all the classified stuff. They just mix and match different bucks, and even the early ones, they were using a lot of the exact same bucks, but just had the big overlays. KJ says, if done right, Super 7 O-rings could be the start of a comeback. They could go great with the indie figs like Operation Logbow, Grindstone, Skeletron, Marauders. So I agree with you to a point. I just think that the amount of people that are collecting O-ring, that's it. Those are the people that are collecting it. Everyone that keeps backing it, it's always, from what I can see, always the same people that are backing it. And I'm glad that they're getting, I back some of the stuff because, like I said, I wanted more O-ring. I don't think that it's going to make a big renaissance to come back anytime soon. Same with the 4-inch. I mean, 4-inch figures have been around for quite some time, and I'm glad that they're there. I like some of them. I collect some of them. But as of now, I'd rather collect the 6-inch. With that said, I also don't have room for it. Yeah, right here. It's a niche audience, KJ. But what people have a problem with, it's like, that niche audience also deserves to have what they want to collect. And that's what really bothers me when people get in these arguments over, like, fuck classified, we don't need that, or fuck the O-rings. I'm an adult. I don't need those little toys. And it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Masks were really small, but if people came out with new mask figures, no one's going to have a problem with it because, oh, hey, look, I can mix and match these with my other mask figures that I had. It's just crazy. Like, like I mean, that is truly gatekeeping, like, the toy community and what you collect. And I think it's smart for Hasbro to look at G.I. Joe, which was a dead brand till the classified line came out, and let Super 7 do it. If it fails, it's on Super 7. Hasbro's got their money. And I know people say that's a bullshit way to look at things. They're $1 billion company, but I will say it again. They are $1 billion company because they make less mistakes than they make less mistakes than they make mistakes. Right? So it's actually really smart on their end. People just don't like to hear that because people don't want to look at the corporate side of things. And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying I agree with it as much as I'm saying that's how the corporate world works, especially corporate America. Um, so if Super 7 could get kids into a line, they take off. I'm kind of with you there. Now, see, I think now I've been in the toy aisle at Target where some guy is just in there. He sees these G.I. Joes and he says, like, he kind of looks at me because I'm looking at toys and he goes, that's not what the G.I. Joes used to be like. They used to, like, you bend their arms and everything. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's not what these are. They're different. So I could only imagine a guy sitting in that aisle with his kids, seeing a figure that has some cool guns, and whether or not it's the exact same, he sees that they have swivel arm battle grip and they can bend their elbows and their knees, and he's like, hey, little Johnny, hey Johnny, hey, let's get a couple of these, because he's looking forward to going home and getting down on the ground and playing toys with this kid. And he realizes in 15 minutes it's not as fun to play like that as we did. You just want to pose them, but you are correct. That would get kids into it. I look at the reaction figures, and Star Wars was fun because it was Star Wars. We were playing Star Wars. But go play with the Star Wars figures, and this is how they shot. You got that snow stormtrooper, and he had that giant gun. He was gonna fucking fall right over. You cannot fucking pose him with that giant gun, which was an awesome looking gun, even though they didn't have one like that. And look who just pops in, Chaz the Guru. You invite him to see your Joe collection. One thing leads to another. Who am I going to invite to my? Yeah. So on the way back from Arizona, what the fuck? On the way back from Baltimore, I got into Ohio, and I thought I blew a tire. The whole car shook. It ends up being, it's either the rear differential or the coupler that leads to the rear differential that turns it. And you know what? There's nothing like there's nothing like taking your car in at Christmas and finding out, yeah, it's gonna be about at least right now $2,400, and you're going, I made a money. But hey, you really can't do anything. Luckily, I have a company car. I have a company car that I get, that I drive. The only problem is I have 2 kids, and the company van only has 2 seats. So my ex and we have a good relationship. So one kid is over there, one kid is here. They're kind of split up right now, which is actually easier on them. They tend to fight about a lot of things. So, but it just sucks, You never want to put that much money into 2,400. That's a lot for classified. Oh, that's for the next HasLab. That is the flag HasLab. You missed the. You don't ever want to put that much money into fixing your car, let alone at Christmas. But not too much you can do, right? The Tesla super truck or Cybertruck, where they smashed the window to show it couldn't smash, and they broke it. All right. But I think that's about it for the whole G.I. Joe thing. There's not too much more that there was to discuss, other than there will be a stream on the 7th, which is Thursday. So I am thinking about Friday at 10 o'clock, possibly doing a live stream with more than just me, having a couple people on with me to discuss everything that they showed off. Thursday is a no-go. I can't be the first to live stream it, as I will be on with Thursday with a friend. But yeah, so Pulse has a stream. If there's stuff interesting, I think I'm going to do a Friday stream with a couple other people. But you guys know, I'll put everything out there, create a live stream. So, uh, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I hate the fact that they dropped this on a Monday and it's going to go out Thursday. Like, why did they not let? I don't understand why like they don't have more time to push this stuff out. It's just very disappointing on Hasbro and the G.I. Joe's team that's how they do it. Also, I want to say I'm sorry that I haven't read all the comments. I'm trying to read through them. You know, when you do this alone, it's difficult. Also, sometimes um, you have to read and make sure who's talking and everything. Also, listen, there's 66 of you watching. Hit that like button. I also want to mention this to all the people that have made comments on my videos that I haven't responded to. I do apologize. Uh, when the channel wasn't nearly as big, and when I and when I do reviews of figures that aren't as popular, maybe have ever gone out, you're able to get to them all. So I just haven't been able to get to them all. I still try and go through them. But if I don't respond to one of your to the comments, it's been really busy. It gets overwhelming at times. It is time consuming. I do read every single one of them, just so you guys do realize. And if you respond to a comment that I respond to, sometimes I don't get notified about it. So I am not ignoring anyone. Fatrid, we were up to like 65 at least. I the number is like right there. Like I said, the channel is growing. And thank you to every single one of you. 70 of you guys watching right now. Look, I got Not Top Goon in here. I see Not Top Goon and all the big on all the big ones. I feel like Action Force is my G.I. Joe experience. I wasn't around during the OG figures, and I really got into POC line in my later years. Action Force, I feel like, gives me a Joe experience, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. I mean, I'm trying to think I'm trying to think of a way. Like, you see Action Force like that, and I mean, it could be any line. And Action Force is obviously the closest because it's the military line. But yeah, it could be any style, like any type of line. I fully can understand what you're saying. That's one of the reasons why I had on my Thursday with a friend, I had B's Battleground on, and he's younger, and he's much younger than me, like 20 years younger. And I wanted to know like what got him into GI Joe. I mean, we joined the military and everything, so it's interesting. It's very interesting. But yeah, I could fully see that. Like a lot of the stuff, like if you went into GI Joe as when you were younger, or you're older collector now, then you may be looking at this like, hey, you know what? I didn't know any of this, so all this stuff is new to me. So there's no nostalgia no nostalgic value. So when you look at like the Action Force line, you're like, that appeals to me more than some Marine in a baby blue outfit. Like, I fully understand that. So no, it does make sense. Random Diorama, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Reparations, you are doing a good job juggling the comments and talking. No worries, man. Thank you very much. Again, I will say this: when you do this alone, it makes it difficult. I'm not even going to try and read every comment. I know some people get upset; they think I ignore them. I don't. It also sucks when you stop to read a comment, you read it, and you realize, oh, that's part of a chat, that's part of a conversation that's going on, because then you get distracted trying to figure out, well, what were they talking about? When in actuality, you just kind of got to move on. And I remember when I first started this, that was one of the things that Matt said: do not just read the chat, you will get distracted. And it is true. And again, it is good. You do need to read the chat and everything that's going on. because you want people to know that you're interacting with them and that you're reading everything. But it is it is kind of funny. But thank you very much, Random. I appreciate the super chat. I do appreciate the kind words. As I said, you're one of the nicest people that I've ever met. I don't think there's ever been a mean thing, a mean word that's come out of you. And just like that, I lied. If you're not checking out Random Diorama, you need to. He does not collect toys, but he does live streams where he shows you how to make dioramas and all kinds of different things. So he does an absolute wonderful job. So check out Random Diorama if you haven't. And he's actually just a very, I like him. Let's just say that. You find someone that you can go back and forth with. Although he does make some very mean memes, puts me in shirts that just really mean. Anyway, okay. So anyway, Friday night we're probably going to be doing a live stream. I haven't even talked to anyone else. Actually, I take that back. I did ask Ken from Toy Connections, and he said, "Fuck you. I don't like you. I don't do stuff with Americans." Just kidding. He said he'd only do it with Travis. And then I was like, oh. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So let's get into the topic that I already had. We got like 13 minutes, hit 3 hours. No, Ken did not say that. So before anyone goes to bashing Ken and I get along. We have a good relationship. He has something to do with his kid. And he also lives, I think, in Vancouver. So he's 3 hours behind me. So yeah, I am just messing with you guys. Do not go bash Ken. Do not go over there and start sending him, evil messages. So anyway, Beast Battleground, my nemesis, who deserved to get some trash sent to him as a grunt, posted that he finally got hit. Amazon, it looked like they had dropped a whole bunch of figures, a whole bunch of grunts that got sent back to them. And he had, I probably should have put it first, but he just had some trash. Now, when I said, hey, can you send me that picture? He sent the picture and he said, yeah, when I went to return it, someone said, yeah, someone else just returned one of these, and they literally just had trash in it. Oh boy. Lawrence, I tagged you in a meme in IG relating to your topic. I can only imagine. I can only imagine, Chaz, but thank you. I'm sure that it is in much love. Okay. I'll find it later. Again, if you're not following Chaz on Instagram and you are on Instagram, you are missing out. He's the one person that can beat a dead horse and make things better every time. So anyway, B finally got hit with this. And this is the first person that I actually talk with that I've actually seen post something like this. I've been lucky enough I have not got hit. And sure enough, the moment I put this out there, 2 more people send me stuff. So this was what B got in his, and it's just a big fuck you, I honestly. So then there was this one, and I'm gonna apologize because I get all these messages from the different people. So this was codename Steve. He said he also lives in Pittsburgh or around where actually Bobby's from. And he got this Batman sent from this grunt. Now it's awesome. Amazon just kind of slaps their stickers on it anyway. But, I looked at this and it's just like, you got to fucking be kidding me. Now everyone's like, hey, thank God the plastic packaging is coming back, but this was sent to me by Mr. Popinski. And now this is new Eternia, and you can see that it's Stratos, but that's not Stratos in there. That's Manny Faces. And it's just come to the point where, and I know I've said this before. So that's the only pictures that I have. I've said this before on the stream. Fuck you. Like, if you're one of these pieces of shit, and I mean it, you're a piece of shit. Unsubscribe to my fucking channel. Get the fuck off here. I don't want you here. You're like these assholes that fucking hoarded toilet paper, but you're never going to find someone that admits to hoarding the toilet paper. You're never going to find someone that admits to how they toy swap. And this is okay. So there's so many issues with this, other than we go out there and we get a figure, and then we come back and we find out, hey, you know what? That's not the figure we wanted. Now, if you're getting the Target figure right away, then you probably don't have anything to worry about. It just came out. Same with Amazon. If it's shipping right away, you know that no one's had time to ship it back. But here's the problem. Not only are we getting fucked out of this shit, but just imagine. I know people say these aren't made for kids. Kids aren't buying these. But hey, listen. Grandma goes there and finds a Marvel Legend. All right? Oh my God, Johnny loves Wolverine. That's what he said that he wants. He grabs Wolverine, or she grabs Wolverine, fucking on his birthday or Christmas maybe. He opens it up, and it's some shitty fucking 5 POA, Robin that he doesn't know or doesn't give a shit about, right? And because you're an adult, and you're like, hey, you know what? I found a way I could cheat the fucking system. That makes you a piece of shit. All right? If you return a figure because it's broken, then so be it. You should tell them. You need to say, and hey, Walmart, Target, they'll ask you, anything wrong with it? So yeah, it's broken. Okay. It's on them to put it back where it should be. They should return it. But when you're swapping stuff and you're saying there's nothing wrong with it, and you're putting the tape back, you're doing that. Like, you're just a scumbag trash. And this is what I'm going to say about it. If someone says, hey, you know what? These things are just too expensive anyway. Okay, well, that's fine. Then don't buy them. This is not a necessity. This is fun. Well, it should be fun. This is, this is supposed to be for relaxation. But now we have to fight about this shit. But here's the whole thing. If $25 is too expensive for you, there's no shame in that. If you can't afford $25 figures, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people aren't making that much money. And if you need to put food on your table and you're like, hey, I just can't afford a $25 figure, it's fine. But if your way to get this $25 figure is to buy a $5 fucking, clearance figure and slam it back in there and then take it back, that's where you're just a total piece of shit. And you deserve to have your ass beat. You deserve to get fucking popped in the nose. And I'll say it again. There's no shame in saying I can't afford a $25 figure. It doesn't fit in my budget. And it's not a $20 figure. It's 25, 30, 25, 25, 20. I mean, I can fucking go on and on and on. You're spending thousands of dollars. We are spending thousands of dollars. I've never said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take these figures back and slam in some other piece of shit figure that I don't want. And I don't give a fuck. Because you know what? If someone grabs it, then they can just take it back. You don't do it with other products. You don't go buy a new fucking blender and then slam your old fucking blender in and take it back and go, you know what? I'm going to get my $70 back from this fucking blender. It makes no sense whatsoever. Why, in a collector community of shit that you need, or shit you don't need, shall I say, that people do this. But again, I haven't seen one person in here admit it, right? And I'm not saying any of you do it, but there's 74 fucking people watching. Don't tell me none of them have fucking done it, because we're seeing this more and more and more. So if you're one of these, if you're if you're one of 74 and you've done it, fucking be a man and say, you know what? I'm one of these assholes that do it, and I don't give a fuck about you. Also, when you go to fucking toy conventions, if you even have the fucking balls to, make sure that you tell everyone, oh, you know what I do all the time? I fucking buy a figure and I fucking swap it. See how fucking long that lasts. You know, it just it drives me nuts. What's that? Underwear? Yeah. Yeah, appliances, anything with closed box. Yeah, again, like, you can do it with anything, but who does that shit? Right? I'm not saying no one does it. I'm not saying no one ever does it with a fan. You know, I understand. I'm sure there are people that do it, but this is such a small community, and you ruin it for everyone. And you know what? Let's see here. Scalpers walk freely at cons all the time, though. Okay. Well, scalpers are different. I mean, at least you're out. They're doing something. I don't agree with what scalpers do, but they are. I mean, they're fucking at least working to get shit, and then they're fucking selling it. I think it's wrong. I have no problem with selling something that costs more if it's older. If you luck into something, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I fucking got a Viper. I got like 3 fucking Vipers right when they dropped. The original fucking Vipers. And I sat there and I looked at my son and I said, should I sell one? And he said, well, how much can you get? I'm like, I don't know. And I put it up on eBay for like $30. It sold for 90. If no one bought it, someone would have got it for $30. But I wasn't driving around grabbing every single one of them. It was one of those things where I went, you know what? I'm going to do this really quick. I looked at it and I'm like, okay, if someone buys it, and it goes back to a guy that when Tickle Me Elmo was huge. We're talking fucking 25, 30 years ago. He took it to a bowling alley. No one could find Tickle Me Elmo. You know what he did? He took it to a bowling alley, sold $5 I think tickets, he said, raffled it off. Because he knew the guy at the bowling alley. He goes, I made like $300 or something like that on it. Someone got a fucking Tickle Me Elmo for like $5 for their fucking kid. But people were willing to buy it. Like, okay. But yeah, I'm just it just it makes me wonder what type of person you actually are. Because you're not a good person. All right. You're not screwing. I mean, every time that someone thinks you're screwing over the fucking man, you realize the man just fucking puts it back on everyone else. But you're just a trash person in life. There's no way you don't do other shitty things. And after I saw Bobby got hit with it, I know I bitched about this, before. It just fucking it's infuriating to see that it continues. And once again, here we are. I haven't been able to read every fucking. I haven't been able to read every single one. Has one person fucking admitted to doing this? My answer, I'm gonna guess no, or else I'd probably see everyone else fucking go after them. And maybe, hopefully, everyone that watches me has better ethics than this. Okay? I hope so. But I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that there's 74 fucking collectors right now and not one of them has done it. And it's just something that I don't get. If I couldn't afford the Chun-Li, if I couldn't afford this fucking nunchuck that I fucking did, or fucking I can't even think of his goddamn name. These Python Patrol figures. I'm not gonna fucking go buy them, box them up, grab a fucking Motu figure that I found for for uh $5, slam it in there and send it back. All right. I needed that. If you guys don't get the joke, Random is not a collector. And I'm just Random's not a collector, so that makes me laugh. Like, I don't see Random slamming his fucking styrofoam in, that he fucking bought at fucking Michael's, that he made some fucking display out of, slam some fucking bubble wrap that he got and send it fucking back, right? I just, oh my god, it's insinuating. It's just fucking, it drives me nuts. And I know I'm kind of repeating the same thing. And maybe I think like repeating over and over and over, like talking to my fucking kids, like, why am I repeating my fucking self, right? Isn't that the definition of insanity? And you guys have seen me. You guys know I am. Black Genghis, $5 super thank you. Proper respects to Lawrence for speaking the truth. Big ups to you and the community. Be well this holiday season. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. You know what? Hey, car's in the fucking shop. I'm in good health. My kids are in good health. Their mother is in good health. And even though we're not together, we're friends. I want her to be in good health because my kids need a mother. My stepdaughter's in good health. Her fiance is in good health. My car, not such good health. But thank you very much. Again, it's totally, so appreciated. Eric on eBay, who was the seller? Oh, sorry. See, conversation. This is what you do. I lose more faith. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. Largo said we were when I was on Largo yesterday. Largo's Lair doing the Infinity playlist. Go check it out if you haven't. We brought up something about I brought up something about kids, right? And he was like, I'm not gonna lie, as time goes on, I prefer being around, I at least something like I prefer being around, dogs more than humans. And I'm fucking with you, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I like human contact, but yeah, I'd almost rather just spend all day with Roman, because guess what? I'd say he's not an asshole, but you should see when the cats are out there. He's a total fucking asshole. I fear him getting one. TC says, have not swapped, but have received numerous swapped items from Amazon. Most were the box. Had two Marcel Legends with figure swaps. One was correct character, just a 10-year prior. Exactly. Again, sure, you can return it. Sure, you didn't lose your money, but that's your time, right? That's your time that you fucking lost out on because you went around to do it the proper way. Baldy says, I put my original Real American Hero blood in the classified box as a joke. Does that, well, not if you didn't fucking take it back. You can put whatever the fuck you want in your boxes, or your wife's box. I don't give a shit. And Todd says, never been hit with a swap from Amazon. Been lucky so far, but I see them on pegs in retail. I've also never seen one. I've never seen one on the pegs. But again, if you don't follow Swap the Figure on Instagram, it's a very interesting. We're gonna see it with the window boxes come back. They do this shit all the time, and some they don't even try. Action Figs. Ed talks about when he worked at Walmart and people would try and return shit, and he'd flat out tell them, no, I'm a collector, and I can tell you right now, that's not the right fucking figure. And he wouldn't let someone return something, and that's awesome. Chaz says, the only thing I swap is spit with the ladies. You fucking. Oh my gosh. What the fuck is wrong with this shit, man? Hey, look. Usual Mike Television has showed up. How are you, Mike? I hate that I hate that you're on such different time zones, man. But I do catch your stuff. Check out Usual Mike if you haven't. Check out my Thursday with a Friend with Usual Mike. You actually find out where his name came from, and it's very interesting in my personal opinion. Yeah, honestly, yeah. If someone picked up a vintage Major Blood for 25 bucks and is in good shape, I gotta say that I don't think too many people would be too upset about that. But if I remember, I don't was it a vintage one that you had? I don't remember, but I thought I remember you kind of posting that picture and putting it up there. Uh, Yeah, see, I keep going longer and longer, so I'm getting into all the time zones. And once I finally hit the 24-hour mark of doing live streams, then I can just say, hey, you know what? There's no reason for everyone in every fucking time zone, like Connor, Fuller's figures and Adam, obviously, and uh, Frostbite. Everyone shouldn't be here, right? I keep going and going here. But anyway, that was really the whole point, man. I saw Bobby got hit. Again, running joke. Bobby's my nemesis. Bobby is not my nemesis. I talk to Bobby. There's few people that I talk to more than Bobby. You can probably figure out from the chat who I talk to the most. Bobby's working on Mondays, and that's why he's not in the chat as much as you would probably think. But he'll hit me up tomorrow when he watches it on the replay. So, but I saw that and it was like, okay, this is the first person I actually have contact with that I talked to. And as soon as I did that, then I started getting other pictures, codename Steve and Mr. Popinski, and he buys a lot of shit too. And the fact that one was the Amazon that was a windowed package for Master of the Universe, it just tells you like they're not even trying to hide it now. I mean, not that they were before. And Hasbro just, I mean, the amount of mistakes that they made doing this, going, plastic free, I think it gave assholes just this free reign. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And again, here we are, 66 people watching, 65 collectors because random doesn't collect. And not one person yet has admitted and said, hey, you know what? I do it all the time. I like stuff like this here. Like if the swapper starts swapping SH Figuarts from Marvel Legends, exactly. Like when they start swapping for shit that is more expensive, then you're like, all right, this is actually pretty fucking cool. When they when they throw in a Toy Biz fucking figure that is worth like 150 because they don't realize it because it has less articulation, and you're like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty badass here. When someone swaps a Starduster O-ring figure into the classified one and someone gets it and they're like, oh, you know what? Thank you very much. I'm going to go sell this and buy the rest of the classified figures. But yeah, I it's awesome. And are you guys saying we get 100? You saying we got 100 likes tonight, huh? I mean, eventually, if I go long enough, we will get all those likes. 102 likes. Thank you guys very much, man. Like, am I gonna go back in? Say thank you. Can't do this without you guys. You guys know that. The fact that you got, man, getting off all that stuff. Yeah, I can't even get into. Again, how much I appreciate every single one of you. I can't be doing this. You guys are still here listening to me ramble on. I don't know how you guys do it. how I sometimes wonder how I can listen to myself. So, uh, Baldy says I'm in the minority, but I like the windowless boxes better. Baldy, I'm with you, man. I think the other ones look like shit. But honestly, man, like just fucking look at that, dude. It looks fucking awesome. Like it looks good. And I'm looking at what all these new ones look like, and I'm like, God, the GI Joe team found the way to do it the right way. But I'd rather have it back if it's going to mean there's less of these assholes swapping figures. And also, when it comes to like paint effects, per swappers, as the Violent Femmes once said, they can kiss off into the air. You know what? I love that album. I love that album, but I couldn't tell you another album that the Violent Femmes did. And I know that they did because they've been around for a very long time. Um, it should be safer to buy on Amazon at initial release. Yep, that's what I was saying. Like pre-orders, higher chance of swap when the figure has been around, and all the swappers did the return. Exactly, I think that's exactly what happened. Is people probably got those grunts for $12, and then they sent them back, or sent the box back or whatever. This sounds like a white person that saw someone be racist to one of their black friends. Um, I mean, not really, because I know I don't have to worry about the racist being racist to me. Don't get me stuck on those assholes, man. I've dealt with those fuckers long enough being in the punk scene. All right. Um, oh, I can't have that. I retract my leg. um, would be kind of funny doing Secret Santa upgrade swaps, putting Mafex in Marvel Legend boxes. You know what? You know what? That's what we should do. We should do a fucking Secret Santa swap where you take one of your old boxes and send something else. Not trash, not a fucking banana that's going to be fucking rotten by the time it gets, ships to the other toy tuber or whatever. um, yeah, thieves are going to thieve, so windows or not, it's going to happen. I disagree. I mean, I agree that will happen, but it's not going to happen as much because with the window packages, you at least have to have some balls. Like you have to stand up there at that counter, knowing that someone like Ed might work there and be like, no, sir, I'm sorry. That's not Lady J. That's a Motu figure. You're not returning this. So I do understand what you're saying, but you know, by doing that, you've made it so easy. You know, like the racists that hide under a fucking hood. All right, listen, you're fucking racist, man. Take off the fucking hood and just show who the fuck you are, man. At least at least respect yourself enough to be racist and let everyone know who you are, right? Rather than hide behind it. But again, yeah, it's going to happen because we were seeing it before, and again we saw it with the Master of the Universe there. But it's just one of those things, man. It's disappointing. It's infuriating that this is still happening. And again, I will say this: if you can't afford a $25 figure, if you think $25 for a figure is too expensive, I have no problem with it. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I may disagree when people try and say, "Well, you remember, yeah, back in the '80s, I was paying $3 for my fucking figures. They shouldn't cost $25." Well, guess what? It's not the '80s anymore. I might disagree with you on the reason why toys are 20, 25, $30 because everything in life has gone up. But if you say, "Hey, I just think that it's too expensive for me," it's not something that I think it is worth it. I understand. If you're like, "Hey, you know what? I don't make enough to afford all these figures. I have to nitpick, or I just can't do it anymore." There's no shame in that. There's no shame in not having enough money for toys that don't mean anything. Um, oops. Gil B. Pimp. I know that's the first time I've ever seen this. This sort of swapping problem happens also, unfortunately, with physical stuff like CDs, vinyls, or DVD, but people buy less of these nowadays. Yes. And listen, as a kid, I remember taking out, and we were kids, the Walk Among Us, Misfits Walk Among Us records, the first print, putting it in a like a second, third print or whatever that was way less, and buying it. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I mean, I think back, I knew better, but I didn't think of the ramifications of the person that was actually going to buy that. You also don't realize the ramifications of how everything trickles down from that store. I was a kid. It's not something that I would do as an adult. And that's the biggest problem. These are not kids that are fucking returning these things. These are grown adults that are just like, "Hey, you know what? Fuck you. I don't give a shit." And again, they're just piece of shit assholes. Um, Graph, $2 super chat. Thank you. That Jada Chun-Li needs a cami next to her. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be a cami when it comes out. I was like, I mean, I think Chun-Li is super hot. Um, and then you had the girl from Smallville play Chun-Li, um, which oof, I can't think of it. Kristen Kirst. I don't know. Not the crazy one that was in that cult. The hot one that was Clark's girlfriend. It says, I always like saying Punk is right. Punk is right. The windowless basically increase the frequency of swapping. It just makes it even easier for the swappers to do it. Yeah, and again, like, I mean, there are people that they have the fucking brass cojones to go in there and fucking with the window, someone is looking at it, but they don't know that that Cyclops that they're looking at isn't Destro. They don't know. But windowless. Oh, look, the tape is on it. And they're not really looking that hard. And to top it off, that tape was so easy to pull off. There should have been something to make it. They should have used tape that wasn't going to be able to peel off, right? They should have used tape where it had to be cut. There should have been something that would show you. But you know what's crazy? You don't see people. I've never heard of people buying Funko Pops and throwing in a shitty Funko Pop and taking it back and returning it. And that should be easy because it's all the exact same size box. Whew. Anyway, I can't believe I've gone over 3 hours like this. And there's still 63 of you watching. You guys are absolutely amazing. I think maybe it is time to bounce out because some of us have to work early in the morning. Although Random was up to like, man, what time did you get off the stream, Random, on Saturday? Like, was it 2, 3 o'clock, and you had to be at work at 7? Listen, if I didn't have to work in the morning, I'd go and go and go. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy trying to read everyone. Yeah. Okay. So random. You got off at 3, and I think you had to be up at 7 in the morning. It was crazy. Um. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. You know why I keep going on and on? I feel like I'm like not giving you guys enough, so I keep continue to go on and on and on. Yet I'm watching other toy tubers that are going an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm like, man, I'm just giving them like twice as much, and I still feel like I haven't given enough. But I love this, man. I get to talk about the shit that I like, that you guys like. You guys all enjoy listening to me, I'm assuming, or else you're really glutton for punishment if you're willing to sit through 3.5 hours, and you don't like me. So thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for the channel memberships. Thursday, I will have Brick Something on. If you don't know who Brick Something is, wonderful channel. Check him out. But check us out this Thursday, 9 p.m. Thursday with the friend. It's not only about toys. It's really not about toys. It's about his life. Going to be a lot of punk rock talk. If you missed my appearance on the Infinity playlist on a Largo's Lair, go check it out. A lot of fun that was. You'll hear a lot of punk stuff in there. You might hear a little bit of Hall and Oates and maybe even some Rick rolling in there. And then after after the live stream, I'll know better, but I'm probably going to do a Friday live stream to talk about whatever G.I. Joe showed us. And I'm going to have a panel of people if I do it. It's just not going to be a solo show. But I am going to get out of here. Thank you guys all. Wonderful night once again. You guys really do make Monday fun, and I love doing this. Have a wonderful night. Take care, guys.